All right, everybody. It is another Tuesday night in the year of our Lord 2025. And you know what that means? That means we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, www.weLikeSportsPC.com proudly presents to you its podcast Tag Team Champions of the World of the Cleat Geek, Mike Valentine. And to my right is my buddy Cheese. And we are the 643 and out guys. And you're listening to the Sportz Truth. Cheese, my man, how have you been?
It's been a good week so far. It's only Tuesday, but it's been a good week. How are you?
Well, I'm with you. I mean, it's a little early to say it's been a great week, but yeah, okay, all right. It's for me, it's like 2 days in, but I really don't start the week off until Monday. So Monday and Tuesday, but okay, the first 2 days have been all right, but
I mean, a lot of NFL players got cut today, so we're having better days than them. So
that's true. That's true. I will. You know what? You set me up really nice there. I had a piece over here, and I'll just read this real fast and see if you agree with me before we start our show right off the bat here. So Jordan Schultz, a guy at Schultz Report, he's a big NFL insider. He put this out, and I'd like to get your opinion. Says these next couple of days are the worst on the NFL's entire schedule. Over 1,000 cuts will crush dreams and lifetime aspirations. Keep in mind that these young men have worked their entire lives to play in this league. Nothing is more challenging than being told you're not good enough.
It is tough, and every year and every team will cut some players that had great preseasons and probably deserve to be on the team, but maybe they're undrafted and the team likes to keep draft picks to look better. Like some GMs literally will keep a 5th round pick that stunk in the preseason just because they don't want to be wrong. So I feel for the undrafted guys that get cut. There is the practice squad, but some of these guys get cut and they never get another chance. So it's your dreams. Like this is your dream to play the NFL, and it's got to be tough.
Got to be tough. All right, buddy. So before we get too much into this, let's go ahead and do our walk-up music, shall we?
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining.
So I guess you didn't get a battery for the hat
5,
yet.
No, I have not, sir. I have
4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
Yeah, I still have the hat. I just don't have the battery. Oh, man. I'm just like you, though, man. I'm a busy guy. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure my coworkers are going to get upset with me because they're the ones that bought me the hat. And here I am. It's like the 3rd or 4th week in a row where we haven't done anything with the hat. So,
I feel like you wore it to sleep because battery ran out so quickly. I feel like you just never stopped wearing it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Probably true. I love telling everybody how we are live all the time. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get going here in just a second with the first Flamin' 5 and 5. Cheese did it last week in 5 minutes. Let's see if we can do it this week. What?
Barely.
Hey, it doesn't matter if it was barely or not. It was done.
I was successful.
All right, so we're going to do baseball. We're going to talk about Ron Washington. We're going to talk about ESPN. We're going to do some love and some questions on both Central League teams, the Brewers and the Cubs. Then we're going to jump into, we're going to do our college football thing after that. But before, I am messing this thing all up here. So we're going to do the baseball first. Then we're going to do our college football. And then we're going to get into the NFL. Well, for the NFL, we're going to talk about Terry McLaurin and Trey Hendrickson and their contracts. Then we're going to talk about Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons and what's going on over in Dallas. And then we'll discuss how many surprise cuts that the two of us think happened today with the NFL. All right, and then of course we're gonna get into our college football stuff. We have a lot of different things to do with that. I will explain how we're gonna do that once we get to it. But first, I mean, I know you're excited, man. I know. I've got my stuff all messed up over here. I was trying to
get organized too.
Once, as my wife tells me, sometimes that's just not supposed to happen. So, yes, we will do that here in just a second. But first, of course, I gotta give you the music, and then we'll go into the first Flamin' 5 in 5. And for those of you who are your first-time people, we'll start the music. We'll give Cheese a 5-minute clock. It's got some flames in the background, and if he doesn't make it, we're then going to set him on fire. I can't wait for that to happen. But we're going to give him 5 questions that
you want me to burn.
They are.
Want me to burn? Okay.
Yeah. 5 questions. He'll have no idea what's coming at him. He gets to answer them and see if he can do it in the 5 minutes. And then if he can, we'll continue to talk about the last question that comes up. So kind of a bonus round if he gets everything in the 5 minutes. Yes. I forgot I did that, so I got to figure out which question I want to be last now, but that's okay. All right, I got it.
The easy one.
The easy one?
Yes.
Well, that's no fun. All right. So let me read the first question, and then we'll start your timer. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I'm all limbered up now.
Okay, we're all limbered up.
Yes.
It's kind of like Limburger cheese. You're all limbered up now.
Correct. The cheese smells amazing.
Does it?
No.
Wish we had smell fumes or something where not only could I hear you, but I can smell. That would be fantastic. We'll have to work on that technology.
Yes.
All right, your first question is this. How many AP top 25 college football teams will go undefeated this season?
0.
0.
There is not a team, in my opinion, as good as Ohio State last year, as good as Michigan the year before. I just don't see a team that had the talent like Ohio State did. And Ohio State didn't go undefeated. They won the national title. 0. There's no team to me that just stands out so much better than everyone else. All
right. Who wins Sunday? Because I think this is a game that's really being overlooked this weekend. We've got over 40 hours of college football games that we can watch. 40 different matchups, I believe, is actually what it is. And the Sunday night kind of standalone game is Notre Dame, who is ranked number 6, at Miami, who is ranked currently number 10. So who is going to win that game on Sunday, Chief?
I'm gonna take Notre Dame. I just think Miami is a little overhyped right now. I don't think they're a top 10 team. I think Notre Dame's good. I don't know how great they'll be, but I just think they're a little bit better, and they'll win by less than 10 points.
Okay, so you think it's going to be a good game, a close game to watch?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game, but I think Notre Dame will come out on top. Notre Dame, yeah. I mean, except for Northern Illinois last year, they usually showed up against the teams they should beat, and I think they should beat Miami.
Okay. All right, we'll go to 2 baseball questions, and then we'll end everything with the football question so that you can continue to talk about it if you get everything right in the 5 minutes. Here is question 3 of 5. With Zach Wheeler on the IL now and is going to miss the rest of the season for the Philadelphia Phillies, does that mean that Paul Skeens is a lock for the National League Cy Young?
I mean, he's got my vote. I think so. I think he's got it. He's just so dominant. He's just so good. And it might hurt him a little that he's, on the Pirates. I mean, they're just such a bad team, although the Cardinals certainly can't beat them. But, yeah, I would say he is a lock.
Okay. So next to the last question, and man, you're rolling through these today. And I should have made these harder for you.
These are great so far.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you like those, since you can rip right through them. So if the Brewers are the best team in the National League, and I don't think there's too much doubt about that, who is the second best team in the National League? And I'm going to give you 4 choices. The Phillies, the Dodgers, the Padres, or the Cubs. So who's the second best team in the National League? Phillies, Dodgers, Padres, Cubs.
It's not the Phillies. Their pitching injuries are devastating. They're in big trouble. So it's definitely not the Phillies. Dodgers just aren't playing well in the second half. Cubs are a good team, but we talked about it. They have their flaws. And that leaves one team. Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with the San Diego Padres. San Diego Padres, to me, actually might have the best roster 1 through 26 in the National League. Brewers are the best team, but I think Padres are really dangerous. They're built for the postseason. I think they're going to be really good in the postseason.
Okay, so Brewers are number 1, and you're saying Padres are number 2. We might circle back to that because I would very much disagree with you, but let's give you the last one here. So here's your final question. With right at a minute to go here, once I read it, you'll have this. Which backup quarterback do you have the most confidence in? Here are your 4 choices.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, Malik Willis, Anthony Richardson.
None of the above. They're so, all 4 of them are so different they're so different.
Yes.
Do I need to win for the season or just win a few games for my team?
No, you just need to just have confidence they can come in and win a game or 2.
Malik Willis then. Malik Willis can come in and win a game or 2. I wouldn't want him for the whole season. I'd probably say Kirk Cousins if his Achilles is healthy, but I'll say Malik Willis because he can run and he's got an arm and some of his throws are just so good. He's just not consistent for a whole year.
All right, just happens to be the Green Bay Packer guy. Okay, Kyle.
Yeah. No problem. Just being honest. I'm not saying Carson Wentz, that's for sure.
What about Richardson, though? I mean, we'll throw that off of there and we'll stop this music in the background for a minute. But I mean, what about Anthony Richardson? I mean, he was a starting quarterback for a few years, and now all of a sudden he's a backup, and you don't have enough confidence in him?
He's hurt a lot, and when he plays, he's so inconsistent. His accuracy is all over the place. He'll make, he probably had the best throw in the NFL last year, this 62-yard touchdown where a rusher, I think for the Texans, is running at him, and he's on his back foot and throws a dime 60 yards downfield, hits the player in his hands. Mm-hmm. He's got so much talent, but some games he's just so misses receivers that are wide open. He's so inconsistent with his accuracy. You can't trust him he could come in the game and win you a game being amazing, but he could also come in the game and lose you the game. So I can't pick him because he's just so inaccurate.
Okay. No, I get it. I was just trying to throw some different things at you here. So, all right. We will get to our college football preview and prediction part of the show here in just a moment. We're going to do our baseball first, then we'll do the college football in the center. I'll explain to you how that's going to go because it's going to be a little different than usual. And then we will go NFL at the end. And, of course, the very last thing we're going to do, I think Cheese is really excited about this topic. I was struggling with this one, to be honest with you, because I don't know the alignment and stuff like what you do. So I'm sure our lists are going to be different. But Probably. At the end, we're going to do our Truth Top 10, and we're going to do it for who we think will win Defensive Rookie of the Year. So we'll get to all of that and more here in just a moment. So Ron Washington, Cheese, he's 73 years old. He visited the Angels in Texas day before yesterday. He left the team on June 20th, and that led to him having quadruple bypass surgery. Now, he said yesterday that he still wants to manage the Angels next year, but can the Angels really allow that to happen, knowing all of his health issues and his age?
Probably not. I love Ron Washington. He was the third base coach for the Braves for years when they were in the World Series. He really helped out so many young players, especially in the field defensively. Really smart third base coach. I just love him to death, but I'm surprised he even took the Angels job because it's a terrible job. The Angels are a bad franchise. They're as poorly run as you get. They don't develop talent in their minor league system well. So I was surprised at his age that he took that job. He didn't wait for maybe a better job, but just retire, man. You've had a good run. You were manager of the year when you were with Texas. You've been a great manager. He must just love baseball, but I think the Angels just should move on because that's scary. Quadruple bypass, when you hear that, that's just scary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can love baseball, but not coach. I mean, there's other things you can do within the realms of baseball. I mean, I'm sure, one of these, one of the FanDuels or I don't want to say that 4-letter awful word that's going to be ruining baseball here in our next question, but TBS or one of those places I would think they would love to have Ron Washington on as an analyst or something like that. So he can still stay in the game, just not have the stress of managing a team all the time. Especially
the Angels.
Yeah, because that's got to be some major stress.
Yes.
All right, so he's 63-99 last season with the Angels. He's 124 and 168 overall as his record as a manager. So could the Angels use these health concerns as a way to get a better manager?
I don't think there's necessarily a better manager. I think he's a great manager.
Not by his record, though.
No, well, his record, they don't have a good roster. They don't have a very good roster at all. They don't have good starting pitching. They haven't been good for many years. So I don't think it's, a reflection of him. They just don't have a good roster. And I think he just really wanted to be a manager again. That's why he took the job. I was surprised. I guess he just felt like he wasn't getting another opportunity, so he took the Angels job.
And, that's a good point. He may not get another opportunity. That was before the quadruple bypass surgery. I would think now that there's go work for MLB Network every weekend or something, or, 2 or 3 days a week or something like that. But I'm with you. I hope, and honestly, I wish and I hope that he just retires and he doesn't necessarily have to walk away from the game. But I think being a manager is a huge stress on you, and with with quadruple bypass and as old as he is, I'm hoping that he walks away. But I'm also wondering if the Angels basically come out and say, "Oh, we don't want him because of his age and because of his surgery," if he'll turn around and sue them, or if his agent will get upset and say a bunch of stuff.
They won't say that. They won't say that. But I would like to extend an olive branch to Washington to join us on our podcast talk baseball segment every week. He can join the Sportz Truth podcast to talk baseball for our segment every week. So maybe he can do that. That would probably be good.
I didn't think about that. I'm sure that's on his list. I mean, it's probably a few clicks down from number 1, but I'm sure it's on his list somewhere.
Ron? Yes. Yeah. Oh, he's in. Okay.
Is he in? All right. So starting next week, right?
Okay. Yes.
All right. Last question here on the Ron Washington front. How much influence do you think Mike Trout has on this decision?
I'm sure they listen to him, but he won't make the decision, but I'm sure that they'll listen to him and get his feedback. He knows the clubhouse. He's a leader. He's been there for a long time, and he's a heck of a player. So, but he won't make the final decision.
Okay. All right. So next, our second thing in MLB 4-pitch talk is this, and I'm going to try to keep myself professional here because this one bothers me. And we may get some residual off this one a little bit here, but I'm just going to start with the beginning. I hate ESPN. I don't use hate very often at all. It's a word that I tried to take out of my vocabulary several years ago, but I do not like ESPN whatsoever. If I have a choice of watching any other sport on any other channel besides that one, I will choose that. No matter what the sport is. Maybe not WNBA, but pretty much anything else beyond that. So, but that's okay. I think ESPN does most of that sport too. So whatever. So I can't stand ESPN, and now MLB may allow them to ruin baseball. Let me explain. So there are lots of rumored agreements that ESPN and Major League Baseball may strike, but there's nothing official. So, Cheese, I'm going to ask you, if MLB signs a really large contract with ESPN after all of the stuff that happened earlier this year with ESPN basically saying they were the 3rd or 4th sport, will this turn you off to Major League Baseball if you have to watch it on ESPN?
It will turn me off for sure. I'll be muting it because they have terrible play-by-play people for the most part. Not all of them, but
there's a couple. Yeah. There's a couple pretty good ones, but for the most part, yes, I agree.
They had Jessica Mendoza on. They've had some bad people. Sunday Night Baseball, David Cohn and those guys, they're just like, nothing great. ESPN is owned by Disney, and Disney ruins everything. Disney has taken Star Wars, they've taken Marvel, they've taken Indiana Jones, and completely, turned it into a dumpster fire. Absolutely ruined it. And they did good with Marvel for a while, but they bought Indiana Jones and Star Wars and killed it. They have agendas. I'm not going to get into what that is, but they have agendas. They don't hire people that we want to see on TV. They hire people that fit their narrative, and then when they had this big firing, they fired a bunch of their good people that people liked, but I'll just say this, they put a lot of women on there that aren't very good at all at the job, that don't even know who Barry Sanders are. Yes. Don't have any clue. I think Barry Sanders and Shadur Sanders are the same person. I mean, you can't be that bad. And they bought NFL Network, or they're apparently, and they gave NFL 10% of the thing. They might run the whole NFL Network, which is awful because the NFL Network has so much better people than ESPN. ESPN, if you watch NFL Live, like Ryan Clark and that whole group, except for Dan Orlovsky, I like Dan Orlovsky. The rest of them are complete trash. They're horrible. Like you see them on TV, when you see certain people on ESPN, you just immediately turn the channel. Like, I can't watch. So ESPN it's not about making what's good for the fan. It's not about sports. It's about their agenda.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And I'm afraid that they're going to ruin my sport because I mean, as much as you would probably disagree with me, I could probably do without NFL if I really had to. But I want college football and I want MLB by a wide margin than any other sport. So I'm afraid that they're going to ruin the sport that I love and that really attracts me to a screen. And I'm just worried about it. So they're looking here. There's a few different things that are out there. I'll tell you a few of these rumors here. And right at the moment, I want to emphasize this. They are just rumors. There have been no official contracts signed between Major League Baseball or ESPN, even though ESPN is doing this direct-to-consumer streaming service now, and they're trying to sneak all this in. I'm not sure how much of it you have seen, but they're basically trying to buy up everything, and they're going to put it on this streaming service, and they're going to force you to pay for it. And I'm sure that the amount to pay for it will increase exponentially over the next few years for them to be able to buy up all of these things. So ESPN may be able to do MLB.TV as a direct-to-consumer streaming service. I don't know about what you have, but I have MLB.TV myself. I pay the $199 or $89, whatever it is, every year, because I look at it as by the time I go see 2 games and pay for the parking and pay for the food and get a few souvenirs and stuff like that, that's $200 in 2 games. So why not spend the $199, sit on my sofa over here, wear what I want, drink what I want, eat what I want. I saw, and we should talk about this because I know you put it up on your account, I believe, and I put it up on the 643 and Out pod. How much an average price of I believe a 16-ounce draft beer was at the stadiums, and then
at the NFL stadiums, yeah.
Yes, the NFL stadiums, yeah. To look at some of those prices were just outrageous. So yeah, we put that up on our sites there. You can go over to @Football with Cheese and see it, or you can go to @the 643 and Out pod and see it as well. So I don't know. I'm just scared that if ESPN does this, it's now going to cost us, instead of $200, it's going to cost you $400. It's going to be like what the NFL Sunday Ticket is right now. And I've never understood, maybe you can explain it to me, why NFL Sunday Ticket is twice the cost of baseball when baseball has so many more games than the NFL does. I've never understood it. Well, I'll let you take the field for a second here. You want to go into all that?
Yeah, I can actually absolutely explain it. Money. NFL is just more popular. NFL ratings, that's where the money is in the NFL. And the Sunday ticket used to be DirecTV, now it's YouTube. They can charge that because they know people will pay. There are fans from all over the country that don't live in the area. I absolutely hate when I lived in Tennessee and the Titans were horrible. Well, they're not good now. Titans Jaguars for years were just terrible. And we kept having to see the early Titans Jaguars, and some big game would be on. We did have to see Titans Jaguars, and I absolutely hated it. And you have to see your team, you might have to go to like a bar or sports bar 6-8 times a year. Well, even DirecTV or YouTube, the Sunday ticket's even cheaper. But it's all about money, and the fact that it's that much means they know people will buy it. It will go down. If more people don't buy it, it'll start going down. But they have smart people working for them. They know how much they can charge. And the NFL, it's all about money. It's not about the fans. If it was, they'd let you watch every game. Like college football, you can watch every single game. They would let you turn to whatever game you want. They would be on Fox Sports 1, ESPN, ESPN2, CBS, like all every game would be would have a contract on some game. And that's one of the most annoying things I hate about the NFL is that you have to pay to watch all of your team's games.
Yeah.
Or not watch a crappy game in your region. You're stuck. Yeah. If you are for example, if you are say you're a big Seattle Seahawks fan, right? And you got a job in, Minnesota, and you're stuck watching Vikings games. You don't want to watch the Vikings. And the Vikings might be opposite Seattle like 7-8 times a year. So,
yeah, that's crazy. You're right. So I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. I'll make a prediction now on all of this. I think what's going to end up happening is MLB is going to sell the rights to the 5 teams that they own. And there are 5 teams that they own because the regional sports networks dropped a bunch of teams, and then in baseball just couldn't let them not be broadcast on television. So they had to take them over. And those 5 teams are the Guardians, the Padres, the Twins, the Rockies, and the Diamondbacks. And so honestly, what I think will end up happening before it's all said and done, I don't think MLB will give ESPN all of this control over their MLB.TV. And I'm maybe it's just because I'm crossing my fingers and hoping for it. But I do believe that this is what they can sell them and still make money off of it, which is those 5 teams. And then the only way you'll be able to see those 5 teams is if you get a subscription to the ESPN streaming package. And so they know that they will at least have those 5 markets. Now, none of those markets are huge with the exception of maybe San Diego, because, Cleveland's not a huge market. Minnesota's not a huge market. The Rockies nor the Diamondbacks. I guess maybe the Diamondbacks might be a decent sized market as well. But at least 3 of those 5 teams aren't real big markets. So I don't think that the MLB thinks it'll make a huge difference, but they can also make money off of it. So, the money is the name of the game there.
Well, so, none of those franchises have like national following. They're not like the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Cubs. None of them have like a national following. So that's, So I don't like this. I don't like ESPN controlling 5 teams and making you get ESPN app or ESPN Plus. No, because that would be terrible. That would be terrible if you have to get that to watch Diamondbacks. Would you? Would you even get it? would you get the ESPN streaming?
No, because I think what's going to happen right there is, again, I'm hoping what's going to happen that I'm going to buy the MLB TV regardless. So I'm hoping that all 5 of those teams will still be available on MLB.TV. And the only reason that they won't be is if that's the only team you want to watch. Like right now, you can pay, I think it's $19.99 a month, and you can see all the Diamondback games for that month for $20, which is not a terrible price as far as that part goes. So I think it's going to be more like that. Like ESPN will have 5 of those, and you'll, if you just want to watch that team's game, you're going to have to pay for it. Then that's kind of where it's going to be at. And like you said, I don't think ESPN will put near the production into it as what MLB is right at the moment. Some of it they'll have to, because MLB has the replay system and all of that, so they'll have to put that kind of production into it. But it's going to be interesting to see exactly what's going to happen, and also to see, I think, if everything can be patched up between ESPN and MLB from some of the comments that were said earlier in the year. The last thing I want to talk about here, as far as these streaming services go, I thought this was interesting. Nobody's really talking about this, and I love to pick these kind of topics out that I don't think anybody has spoke about. I watch a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff, as I know that you do as well, Cheese. And I haven't heard of this until yesterday, and it wasn't even on the top of anybody's list. It was buried down in there. So I don't know if you know this or not, but Netflix has agreed to broadcast the 2026 WBC Japan games. Now, they're not going to broadcast the games here in the United States, but they are going to broadcast the games in Japan. And Netflix is a pretty interesting partner to have do that. Because Netflix has over 30 million subscribers in Japan. So I thought that was interesting. Let me give you a few stats, and then we can talk about this for a second. In 2023, 6 out of the 7 games drew 30 million plus viewers in Japan. That's just in Japan, not counting what the people here in the United States watch. And then all that's going to happen, all those games will be played March 5th through the 10th at the Tokyo Dome. So it's not a huge thing that they're doing, but Netflix is starting to, they've already got WWE Raw, so they're starting to dip their toe into the sports world. Do you think it's good that we've got another company like Netflix that's wanting to kind of, dip their toe into our sports broadcasting stuff?
No, because then you have to get Netflix. That sounds horrible. No, I don't love it because then you have to subscribe to Netflix. They're just doing it to try to get you to subscribe.
Well, of course.
Hopefully watch their shows and movies. It's by far the strongest streaming service, by far. Destroys Prime and HBO Max, and of course everything destroys Disney Plus. No one's getting Disney Plus. But I honestly haven't watched the World Baseball Classic since Chipper Jones was on the American team. So I could care less about the WBC. I don't know about you. I don't even know if the USA was in the finals the last time. I didn't even watch it if they were. So I care about Major League Baseball. Like in March, the World Baseball Classic. MLB Network tries to hype it up. They try to hype it up like it's this cool thing, this Olympics of baseball, but I really could care less if America wins that. I don't even know if they ever have. I have no idea. Wow.
Okay. So now that we know where Cheese stands on the WBC, I mean, if it's baseball, I'm going to watch it, right? I mean, the Arizona Fall League is getting ready to come out, and I'm giddy.
I watch that every year. I watch way more of that, but I love minor league baseball. I love prospects, so yeah.
I'll be at a lot of those games. I already have a schedule. Cool. I have a calendar that's on my refrigerator already with the
Mesa Solar Sox.
Yes, that is one of the teams. You are correct.
Yes.
So yeah, I've got a schedule on the refrigerator already for my wife. It says I'm going to this game, and
cool.
So I'm already mapping stuff out and looking at cards. They haven't actually released the schedule. I take that back. They've released the schedule. They haven't released the rosters yet, and they won't do that till after the minor league baseball season is complete. But man, if it's baseball, I'm pretty much gonna watch it or be there if I can in person. So. I feel about baseball like you do about football. You're watching all the preseason games and all of that kind of stuff, and I watched like maybe 4 quarters of preseason, so far. And I guess it's over now, but so I guess I'm only going to watch 4 quarters of it. So,
gotcha.
And then 3 of those quarters were at a sports bar I was at when I was just eating dinner. So, yeah. Anyway. All right, let's jump into the Cubs and the Brewers. Let's talk about the Cubs first of all, right? So the love and the hate of the Cubs and the Brewers here. I've already missed one of these. There you go. Let's give some love and ask some questions about the Cubs and the Brewers. So, Cheese, give us your Cade Horton stats, because I know you're the big Cubs guy. I'm going to give you a chance to do this, and they are decent stats, but.
Decent.
What you got for us?
Decent. Oh my gosh.
They are. They're not fantastic. All right. And I'm going to shoot some holes into these stats. If this, you sent these over to me earlier in the week, and I was looking at it and I was like, okay, those are all right stats, but not
all right
fantastic stats. Yeah.
All right.
Let's back and forth on this. You must think they're great stats, sir. Let's do it. Talk to me about Cade Horton and his stats.
Cade Horton was a first-round pick, top 10 pick about 3 years ago at Oklahoma. And wasn't ever the Cubs' top prospect, but was a top 50 prospect. And he was decent in the first half. Nothing spectacular. He had some good games and bad games. In his last 7 starts, he has given up 2 earned runs. It's the best
all 7 starts?
In all 7 starts combined.
Okay.
2 earned runs. And one of them, because I watched it, was he left the game. I think it was a guy on first, and the bullpen guy gave up a double, and that guy scored. So the bullpen is an inherited runner. So it's the best 7-game stretch in Cub history, better than John Lester, better than Jake Arrieta in their prime. Overall, he's 8-4 with a 2.88 ERA. But in those 7 starts, he's 5-1 with a 0.48 ERA. Yes, somehow 2 runs allowed in 7 starts. He has a loss. I have no idea how that happened, but Cade Horton is now the favorite in Vegas, the betting lines for Rookie of the Year. He's just so efficient. He doesn't walk people. He gets weak contact. He's just cruising right now. And it's a big reason why the Cubs, I think since July 1st, they're the best starters ERA in baseball.
Okay. So, yes, he's had a great 7-game run, and I'll give him that. But a season is a whole lot more than 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that he's basically, well, he's not basically, he is a rookie. He's going to have his ups and downs. I will also give him the credit, even though I don't like to, because it's the Cubs, and I'm a Reds guy, so this is hurting me a little bit here. But I have to be truthful. It's called the Sportz Truth, for God's sake. So I do have to be truthful with it. But I don't know if a 7-game stretch makes me think he's the next Randy Johnson.
No, he's not. I'm not saying he is, but he's got a great slider. He's got very good stuff, and it's just hard to have, three starts in a row giving up 0 earned runs. That's fine. That happens. But 7 starts, 2 runs total. I think he gave up a solo home run in one of the games. And like I said, the other run was he had a guy, the bullpen pitcher gave up an inherited run. He's just been really efficient. And when you don't walk people, you throw strikes, you miss bats, get weak contact. He's just been so consistent. That's what he's been. He hasn't been dominant, I wouldn't say, in any of the games, just been consistent. So it's just a big boost for the Cubs, and it gives the Cubs hope maybe in the postseason. They have a pitcher that can, take over a game, because losing Justin Steele for the year was really hurt them because he was their best pitcher. So maybe Horton can, dominate a game in the postseason for them.
All right. So you're hanging your hat kind of here on the fact that while the Cubs have one pitcher, shouldn't you try to hang your hat on more than just the Cubs having one pitcher, though?
Well, one pitcher. See, in the postseason, and you know this better than anyone. You know baseball. You know more about baseball than I do.
That's where I'm going here for a minute, but we're taking it a step at a time.
You have to have in the postseason. If you look at what teams win and don't in the postseason, look at what team has pitching that misses bats, that can get the strikeout on the 3-2 pitch. If you have pitchers that are pitchability guys, maybe their ERA's, low 3s, but if they're pitching to contact, you're facing the best lineups in the postseason. You're going to have a game where you get lit up. You have to miss bats. And Justin Steele was the one pitcher in the Cubs that you could take over a game in the postseason and miss bats. And they just don't have another one. That's why I said I don't, 2 months ago on the podcast, I said, I don't think the Cubs are going to go far in the postseason based on that. But the way Cade Horton's pitching gives you hope that he can have a game like that.
Okay, so you have a second stat, if I remember right. You sent me 2, right? Something about 5+ innings and doing something like that. What was that one? Do you have that one in front of you too?
So that one I did not have in my notes for the podcast.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember.
Did not have that one in my notes on the podcast. Oh,
did not. If you can find it.
So I can find it here. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. So most scoreless starts of 5+ innings or more since July 1st. So here are the guys. Freddie Peralta has 4 of them. Matthew Boyd, another Cubs pitcher, has 4. Mm-hmm. Paul Skeens has 5. And then Cade Horton has 6, and 6 would be most scoreless starts of 5+ innings or more since July 1st.
Yep.
So yeah, let me come back up here where I can actually
more
see
than Paul Skeens. And Matthew Boyd's been terrific for the Cubs too. He should be mentioned. I'm not saying he's not going to miss bats and dominate in postseason. He doesn't have number one starter stuff, even though he's pitching really well.
Yes. So, all right. Anyway, so I'm with you as far as that part goes, but here's where I'm not with you. I don't like these new. We've reduced pitching. I remember when Nolan Ryan would throw just game after game after game and inning after inning after inning. And the way that stat started out was it's like, oh, it's great if we go 5+ innings. No, it's not. Diamondbacks yesterday, just to give you an example, Eduardo Rodriguez did not go but just 3 innings, and then Bryce Jarvis came in and pitched like 5 1/3, I believe, and everybody was like, oh well, wow, he saved the bullpen, and okay, yes, he pitched 5 innings, but calm down, people. Calm down. It's just 5 innings in one game, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't like how we've watered down these pitching stats now, where it's like a quality start and all. Come on, that's not the definition of a quality start should not be 5+ innings. That shouldn't be the first one.
I agree with that, but the reason I sent you that stat was not the 5 innings. The Cubs are watching his innings, so he goes a lot of 5 1/3, 5 2/3, and they just take him out when he hits like 85, 90 pitches. They're watching his innings because he'd never, before the season, he had never pitched, I think, more than like 125 innings. So they're being careful with him. So if it was 6 innings, he would not even be close in this list because I don't think he goes 6 innings. Maybe two or three of those starts that he went 6 innings. But I agree with you. When I was a kid, there's a lot of shutouts. Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux would throw a lot of shutouts, or at least go 7, 8 innings. There were a lot of games where pitchers would go 8 innings and they'll just use the closer, and you only would use a lot of bullpen is if he just got lit up or he got hurt. But most pitchers, even not great pitchers, would go 6, 7 innings.
Yes.
It's just a different game. It's all about preserving the arm. But it's made bullpen way more important than it used to be. Way, way more important.
Yes, and that's 100% correct. The bullpens are a lot more used. I mean, look at the San Diego Padres. The Padres now all of a sudden have this huge bullpen, and again, you're right. I'm the baseball guy, but you have enough knowledge of it as well. I know that you do. Once we get into the postseason, the bullpen means so much more. I'm not going to say it means more than the starters, but if you have a terrible bullpen, I don't care how many 5-inning starters you throw out there, you're probably going to lose most of those games. I did have to look this up real fast here. Cade Horton has pitched 6 or more innings once in his Major League Baseball career. August 23rd, 2025, against the St. Louis Cardinals.
But more than six innings.
Let me go back to it and make sure. Yes, more than 6 innings, only once. So, and that was 6 innings. He didn't go 6 1/3. He went six innings even. Everything else has been under 6 innings in his entire career. So
they're watching his innings. Yep, 5. Yeah, I just pulled up now. 5 2/3, 5 2/3, 5 innings. Yep. Mm-hmm. When he hit a blister, I think,
the one that was 2.2 innings.
2.2. Yeah, he had a blister, but he was fine. They said they just took him out just in case. But you're right. Okay. Well, actually, on July 26th, he went 6 1/3 against the White Sox. Against the Guardians, he went 7 innings actually. So, but it's rare for him. A lot of 5s, a lot of 5 2/3. If you look at the whole season. Yeah. And
again, I get it. He's a rookie. And would I put him up there for rookie of the year? Yes. But am I going to put him up there as even in the top 20 as far as, pitchers in baseball right now? No, he's not
either. Oh no, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't put him top 20. No.
Okay. But all right. I got you. Yeah. So now I'm going to ask you some questions about Kyle Tucker, because I'm confused, and maybe you can unconfuse me about what your Cubs are doing here right now. All right. So
I can't help. We'll try.
Did Kyle Tucker carry the Cubs in the first half of the season? Let's start there.
No, it was mostly Pete Armstrong and Seiya Suzuki were really carrying them. Those guys just went off in the first half. They were like first and fourth in the National League in RBIs at the All-Star break. Suzuki was first, didn't make the All-Star team. Tucker was their third or fourth best hitter in the first half, so he was not carrying them.
So then why is he getting so much attention?
Because he's been one of the best hitters in baseball probably the last 3 or 4 years. That's why he's getting attention. He's just a good all-around player. He can run bases. He can steal. He can hit. He can field. He was off to one of the best starts in baseball last year. Like the first half, he was like possible MVP, and then he fouled a ball off his shin, I think, and missed a lot of the year. Mm-hmm. And the Cubs were hoping to get that production. So, and it was such a big trade to give up a prospect like Cam Smith. So there was a lot of people expected him to be the guy, the best player on the team, and he has not been.
So I'm sure you know, our fans might not know, but Kyle Tucker had a hairline hand fracture, but yet the team let him get booed instead of disclosing the fact that he had an injury. Why in the world would the Cubs do that? Why would they let him get booed like he was getting booed and just not come out and say he's trying to play through an injury?
Mike, I do not know. They finally said it. Actually, I think the Brewers manager is the one who figured it out. And so they had to come out and say it. So if the Brewers manager is the one who figured it out, that it's bad. And Jed Hoyer is the general manager of the Cubs. Mm-hmm. He gets way more credit than us. Theo Epstein used to run the Cubs. He built the team that won a World Series. Hoyer was his right-hand man, but it was Theo running the show. Mm-hmm. So people associate Hoyer with Epstein, think he's good. Jed Hoyer is not a good general manager. He's not. They hadn't won the division since 2020, and that was the COVID year. Before that was like 2018. He has not done a good job with the Cubs. They just gave him an extension because they were off to a good start this year. As soon as they gave him an extension, the Brewers just passed them by. He's just not a good leader. He's not a good GM. And that Kyle Tucker trade's going to really – it's going to look so bad like 3 or 4 years from now. It's going to look like one of the worst trades. And I think it has to do with Hoyer. I just don't like him. I don't think he's very good. And somehow the Chicago media protects him, and no one just calls him out. And I don't – no one in the national media, no one baseball media calls him out for doing such a poor job. But, they're good this year because it's the Cubs. They have money to spend, and they do have a good farm system. But the general manager usually doesn't draft the players, scout the players. They have really good people running the minor league system, but I don't think he's a good GM.
So, I didn't like this at all. And I wonder, I'm going to throw some theories out here. Okay. I've been watching this game for a long time, right? So Pat Murphy, as you said in your little Spider-Man cup there, Pat Murphy figured out that he had a hairline fracture. Now, I'm not real sold on the fact that Pat Murphy figured it out, the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. Every player has players on other teams that they're really good friends with, right? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that Kyle Tucker told somebody who told Pat Murphy, and Pat Murphy's like, well, shoot, we're just going to say it and see what happens. And I wonder if the Cubs did it just because, if you've got a hairline fracture in your hand, you're probably going to start pitching that hitter inside, to jam him and to hurt that hand even more and all of this kind of thing. Corbin Carroll for the Arizona Diamondbacks has a similar injury. But they've already said no matter what happens, he's not going to hurt it anymore or anything like that. They gave him a couple weeks off, and then they brought him back, and they're like, okay, you may as well tell everybody what's going on. And the Diamondbacks did. They said he had a fracture and all this, and so he's playing through it because it can't get any worse. I don't know. I just think you threw your guy under the bus, and then you put it in reverse and backed over him again. And I wonder, Cheese, what do you think about how is this going to affect the Cubs and Kyle Tucker's agent when they go to re-sign him? Or are they going to be able to, or do they even want to?
Oh, I think they want to. If you don't re-sign him, it looks really bad. It just looks really bad. But I think they want to, but they want to add a discount. They want him to take a hometown discount. That's the only way he's not going to re-sign. He's going to be on the Yankees, Mets, or Dodgers next year. Let's be honest. He's probably going to be a Dodger. It's just going to happen. But It's possible Tucker didn't want people to know because of the reason you said, because they'll throw him inside. It's possible it's Tucker the one saying, I just don't know. The Cubs had to come out and say it after that. And it actually explains why he was, so horrible for so long.
He went from hitting really well to just falling off the edge of the earth.
Yep. And he was popping up a lot and hitting the ball on the ground. And he actually kind of lost confidence, looked like a little bit. Like he was, he's a high walk guy. Looked like he was swinging at pitches he shouldn't. And he was trying to pull the ball. He was trying to hit a homer. He didn't homer in like 28 straight games. Looked like he was trying to pull everything just to hit a homer. And they finally gave him two days off, 3 games off because they had a doubleheader. They gave him 3 games off. And then he goes to Anaheim, or Anaheim Angels, Los Angeles Angels.
Yes.
And the Angels pitching cures everything, right? They cured him. The Angels have cured Kyle Tucker. He has an unbelievable series, 3 homers in 2 games. And he looks like he's back. So thank you, Angels, for being so terrible.
Right. And then he went back, and then they just had this series with Milwaukee. He looked pretty good in that series, too. So my final question here is we're going to kind of go from the Cubs to Milwaukee as I ask you this question. Can the Cubs catch the Brewers?
They can. It's 5.5. I don't think they will. Maybe 10% chance if I'm throwing it out there. But the reason they can is they're playing the Giants for a series, but then they go Colorado, then the Braves, Nationals, and Braves again. Okay. We're talking some bad teams. The Braves, right. Braves won 11-2. Crazy. They don't usually score that much, but so their schedule is about as easy as you get. So they have a shot. I doubt it. Like I said, 10% chance.
Okay. So the Brewers are number 1 in the National League Central. They're 82-50 before the game today. I'm not sure what they did today or if the game is over yet. But the Brewers are third in a lot of stuff here. So they're third in batting average at 257. They're third in runs scored, believe it or not, with 666. I had to throw that in there. They are third in ERA.
That fits with the Brewers.
Yeah, they're the Demon Brewers. So they're also third in ERA at 357. Would you say that the Brewers are the most complete team in the National League?
They definitely are. And they're playing the Diamondbacks, so of course they're way ahead. So, yeah.
They're also the best base running team as far as numbers go. When you look at runners on second base scoring off of a single, the Brewers have done it a major league leading 122 times. And I know people might go, I'm sorry.
That's insane. That's so good.
So good. And
so good.
I was talking to some of these stats today with some of my coworkers, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw some of these crazy stats that the Brewers are doing at people on the show tonight. And it's like, well, I don't think they're gonna like any of those stats. And I said, that's just because you don't understand baseball. I mean, when you hit a single and you got a guy on second and you score the run 122 times, the team with the next best is the Texas Rangers, and they're at 97. 97 compared to 122, right? It's
and the Rangers aren't a very good offensive team. That's what's crazy is that surprised me almost as much because the Rangers aren't a very good offensive team. So all these good offensive teams are just slugging it. That's how they're scoring the runs.
And I mean, when you look at it comparatively, they're playing the Diamondbacks right now. So again, the Brewers have 122 times. The Diamondbacks have only done it 79 times, and they've got a lot more speed than what the Brewers do. You'd think that they would put it up there a little bit more. And then Cleveland's at the very bottom at 62. So yeah, just kind of a weird looking stat that I was going to throw out there, but also kind of prove to everybody that the Brewers seem to do a lot of the little things right.
Yeah.
So here's the reason why I think maybe the Cubs can also catch them. Here's the Brewers' schedule over the next few series. So 4 against the Diamondbacks. They're probably going to win 3 of those 4. But then they go to Toronto and play the Blue Jays. Then they go to Philadelphia and play them. So that's 6 games in there. And like you said, there's a 5-game difference between the two. So if the Cubs can go on a run and the Brewers lose the majority of those games, now all of a sudden the Cubs and the Brewers are within a game or 2 of each other, and it starts to get interesting.
All
right. So,
real quick about the Brewers. part of the reason, I mean, they're clutch, obviously, 122, but part of the reason they don't hit a lot of homers. If you're trying to find a weakness, Brewers, they don't hit a lot of home runs, so they're going to hit more singles. But I also think they have a lot of unselfish hitters that see a man on second, not trying to hit a two-run homer. Let me just try to put the ball in play because the single scores a run. I think they're, especially the teams spend a lot of money like the Dodgers and Mets and Cubs. You have guys that are just trying to slug a homer. They have a lot of more sluggers or higher paid players, so they're just trying to slug. So maybe the Brewers are showing the league something that you need to just try to put the ball in play with a man on second. You're going to end up scoring more runs if you get singles.
Well, it's like you said, you have to have unselfish players. A lot of these guys think they have to earn their contract.
They have to hit 37 homers a year or something.
Yeah. You know, I've got to earn this $30 million contract that I just signed or whatever. And the Brewers don't seem to be in that boat. They're a pass the baton type of team, and they do it in every facet, not just with the scoring the runs, but they do it with their pitching staff and their bullpen and everything else. So. Again, it's hard for me to compliment these two teams because my Reds are in that division. But again, it's called the Sportz Truth, and I got to tell the truth here. So that's what we're going to go with. So I think so. So we said earlier, and I think both of us agreed with this, the Brewers are the best team in the National League.
Yeah.
So now I have a final question for you in our MLB 4-pitch talk, and it's this. Are the Brewers the best team in baseball?
Right now, yes. Right now, I would say yes, but being the best team in August is not the best team in October. So
that's very true.
I wonder if the Brewers actually are coming out of a series. They did not play well against the Giants at home. They did not look good. They were doing a lot of the things wrong. We talked about the fundamentals. They did a lot of things wrong in that series, and they lost, I think, 2 of 3. So
to a poor Giants team.
And I think they may have peaked. We'll see. They may have peaked in July and August. But, you know, obviously that run wasn't, you know, they went, I don't know, like 48-16 in a stretch or something like that. It's not sustainable. So we'll see what happens in October. It's going to be interesting.
It will be interesting. That's why I kind of started off with the Flamin' Five earlier when, you know, are they the best? And then we talked about the Padres and the Dodgers and the Phillies. And by the way, I would say the Phillies are the second best team in the league, even though their number one guy is out with an injury right at the moment. They have a big enough lead, I think, in that division to where they're going to be just fine and they're going to be good. So, college football prediction preview, buddy. Here we go. I don't know about you, but I put hours and hours of research time into this.
So much time into this.
I know.
Good thing I started over the weekend.
Yes, me too. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you guys how this is going to work. We're going to do it the same with everything, and then we're going to kind of circle the wagons at the end and culminate everything. So, we're going to go SEC, then Big 12, then ACC, and then Big 10. And we're going to answer the same 4 questions for each one of those divisions, which is who will be the conference champion. We're going to pick 2 sleeper teams in that division to where we think they can make a run. Then we're going to pick a team that we think is going to disappoint. Because if you're going to pick a couple of good teams, you got to pick at least one bad team, right? And then we're going to do a Heisman candidate from each one of those divisions. Now, we're going to do those 4 questions. There'll be a question about that division, and then we'll move on to the next one and do it that way. At the end of that, we are then going to, like I said, we're going to kind of culminate everything together. And I'm sorry, I'm turning the page here. You're going to hear me do it. Then we're going to look at the 12 college football playoff teams. We're going to answer who's going to win the Heisman. We're going to answer who will be the national champion. And then I'm going to give Cheese the floor at the end, and he's going to talk about Notre Dame for a moment. So I'll let him kind of do that at the end. And then we'll go into our Truth Top 10, and the show will go then into all of our other NFL conversations. So a lot more to do here. Stick with us. But I think it's going to be really fun. And as you know, as both of us have pointed out, this is a lot of research. This was a lot of time. I thought I knew a lot about college football, and as I began to research and look, I was like, wow, maybe I don't know as much as I thought I did about college football. So And just so everybody knows, we shared the questions. We know what questions we're going to answer about everything, like I just explained to all of you. But I don't know how Cheese is going to answer these questions, and Cheese has no idea how I'm going to answer these questions. So
I think we have a lot of different. I think a lot of our answers are going to be different. Believe it or not.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I
Big 12's going to be
a lot of research and development type stuff.
Big 12's going to be crazy this year. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. All right, so let's start with the SEC, Cheese, and let's do the 4 questions. So, who do you think will be the conference champion in the SEC?
Well, real quick, if people don't know this, the SEC has 10 top 25 teams in the AP poll. 10 top 24, actually.
This was a hard thing for me to do.
10 so one of these teams is like 10th place best teams in the SEC. It's crazy. But I'm going to take Texas because I really like their defense this year. They lost a lot of offense, lost a lot on the offensive line, 4 starters. They lost their top 2 receivers, and I don't think any of the receivers are as good as Bond or Golden. And they lost some defensive players, but I think they had depth and people to replace them. I think their defense is going to be really good. And, of course, they have Arch Manning. So Texas is my pick. Are we going to go your pick? Are we going to go back and forth or the whole thing?
Yes.
And then
we're going to go back and forth. So you'll give me your conference, and then I'll do conference, and then we'll do the 2 sleepers.
You want me to go the whole SEC?
No, don't
do
it.
Okay.
Stick right there where you're at, because we're already going to.
We should have played this a little bit.
We're already going to disagree here.
Okay.
So I really looked at this, and I looked at the scheduling.
Yes, I did too.
I don't know what all you looked at, because again, ladies and gentlemen, we really have not discussed what we did. We knew what questions we wanted to answer, and we thought it would be a lot more fun this way to do it live. That's the whole point of doing a live show, right? So, my conference champion is going to be Alabama.
Okay.
Because it's like you said, they've got 10 top 25 teams. There's no way the SEC is going to get 10 teams into the tournament. So you're going to have some disappointments here. You're going to have a lot of different things that's going to happen before this whole thing is said and done. So I looked at the schedule, and I really think that I think you're going to see Alabama, and I think you saw it a little bit last year, where Alabama was just getting upset that they weren't Alabama. And I think you're going to see Alabama get back to Alabama this year, and they're going to, I'm even going to say it this way. I think Alabama is going to dominate the SEC this year. So I'll throw that out there, buddy.
That's interesting. They did not lose a lot on defense. I think their defense is going to be really well. Like Texas as well. Like their defense, they lost just like Texas. They lost more on offense than defense. But I get it. I mean, I have them in the playoff. So anyway.
Okay. So give me your 2 sleeper teams. What 2 teams do you think are going to surprise people and be good in the SEC that no one's really talking about? But here's the problem. This is what I kept running into, Cheese, and I'm setting this up the right way. There's 10 of them in the top 25, and the ones that aren't in the top 25 are going to do nothing. So it's like, who do you choose for these sleeper teams here?
Oh, I picked 2 top 20. I picked 2 of those teams in the top 25.
Okay.
I'm not picking Arkansas or Kentucky. I mean, come on.
Okay. So let's hear it. What would you pick? What would you pick?
Well, when I did this, I did my research. I looked at who's back. I looked at draft prospects. I look at all of that. And then the last thing I did was look at the schedule. And I changed some things based on that, especially the Big Ten. The Big Ten, really unbalanced schedule. That changed my whole list. But anyway, I had my disappointment. Okay, you said sleepers. I'm a little out of order. Underrated. Okay, sleepers. I'm going to go with Tennessee because I think their defense is going to be good, and just because they lost Nico Mamaliana, whatever his name is. Do you know how to say it? Do you know how to say it? Okay. They lost him.
You attempted it a lot better than I would have.
That's a whole thing. He was making $2.4 million Tennessee, wanted more. Then he's making 1.75 at UCLA. And with taxes, that's way less. Like, so dumb. But Tennessee, I think, will be fine. Losing Dylan Sampson to me is bigger because I don't think they have a running back as good as Dylan Sampson, but I still love their offense. The scheme is great. I think their defense is going to be very good. They lost some defensive linemen who are good, but they have a lot of good linemen. They have a really good secondary. They're going to have a really good secondary. So I'm trying to look up the Tennessee quarterback. His name is Joey Aguilar. He's pretty good for Appalachian State, so I think he'll be fine. He's a transfer. And the second team I went with Texas A&M. A lot of people don't realize this, but Texas A&M was like a top 10 team all year, and they collapsed. They just fell apart at the end of the season. They lost that 4 overtime game to Auburn, and then the next week they scored 7 against Texas, and then they were done. Like those 2 games, they were headed to the SEC title game, and then just collapsed. But Texas A&M, they're like something like 18th ranked. Their schedule is tougher in Tennessee. Well, nothing in Tennessee. Their schedule is one of the probably easiest in the SEC. Yeah.
I came really close to picking Tennessee, but I did not actually.
They have they have 4 games where I think they could lose. That's it. I mean, I think they're 8-4 for sure, unless something crazy happens. But I really like this A&M team. So I went with them. Let's see. Yep, Texas A&M and Tennessee. What about you?
Okay, so again, we're going to completely disagree because I didn't pick either one of the 2 teams that you picked.
Perfect.
I feel stupid in a way picking Georgia as a sleeper team, but nobody's talking about them. I don't hear the pundits talking about them. I don't hear anyone talking about them, and they have been dominant over the last few years. So I just want to give them their praise and their flowers for being so dominant, and I think they're going to do it again this year. I just don't think they're going to be as dominant as Alabama. And then you're going to start seeing a theme with me here as we go down through this. And the theme is going to start here. South Carolina. I really like how South Carolina is built. I know they're young, but I really like how they're built. And we'll talk about more once we get to some more of these categories here in a few moments. But I am really high on 2 teams in the SEC this year, Alabama and South Carolina.
South Carolina's ranked 13th. If they were ranked 23rd, I might have picked them. But they are ranked 13th. But to me, South Carolina, you lose Kyle Kennard, you lose TJ Sanders, you lose Nick Emenori on defense. Those are impact players.
They are.
And so I don't think South Carolina, to me, is quite as good as the top 15 team. But Lenore Sellers is a great quarterback, so we'll see.
All right. So then we're going to go. We've given you the conference championship, the 2 sleeper teams. Now we're going to go with a team that we think is going to disappoint in the SEC. I'll let you go first because I'm probably going to get a bunch of comments when you hear mine in a minute. So let's go.
Well, I have Georgia. I don't think they're a top 10 team. I don't love Gunnar Stockton. I went and rewatched the Notre Dame Georgia game. A few months ago, and he did not look good. He did not look good. So I just worry about him. I don't think we didn't see him for all season. Carson Beck was the quarterback most of the year.
Correct.
I just think I could be wrong. Maybe he'll improve, but if he plays like he did against Notre Dame, I know Notre Dame was a very good defense, but I just think in these big SEC games, I know Georgia's schedule is not one of the hardest in the SEC, but man, I just they don't really have another big quarterback behind him. There's no other options.
That's true.
I think they have a big guy coming in next year, like a 5-star, but I think Georgia, I just don't think I think they're a 3 or 4 loss team this year.
And I picked them because of the schedule. You said it. Yeah. When I did it for my sleeper team, I picked them strictly on their schedule. But here's my disappointing team. I think they're really being hyped up right now. And I think they're going to lose in just a few days, and then it's just going to get worse, and it's just going to go downhill from there.
Is it a Baton Rouge team?
No, it is the Texas Longhorns.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Arch Manning will handle the pressure that he's going to get.
Okay.
I don't think so. We'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong, but Texas has so much pressure on them this year to be that team. And I think when you get a team of kids, and that's what these guys are, right? You have to remember these are not NFL players; these are college players. They're teenagers. So when you put huge amounts of pressure on teenagers, they're either going to shine through or they're going to collapse. There's usually not much in between. And I'm not sure if there's a leader there on Texas who is going to pick them up and carry them through. And I don't even think Arch Manning's that. And I think a lot of other people do think he is that way.
Okay. Well, I disagree. I think they're going to be very good, but I get it. Like I said, I don't think any team, including Texas, I don't think they're as good as Ohio State last year. I don't think there's any team with that much talent. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right. I'll tell you what, let me do it first. I'll take this one first.
Okay.
The Heisman candidate from this division. You said it earlier, Lenore Sellers, South Carolina quarterback. That's going to be my Heisman candidate from the SEC. Okay. I really like this kid. I think he's got a great mix of run and pass. I think he is what Lamar Jackson wants to be and what the Baltimore Ravens want Lamar Jackson to be as far as an NFL comp. But I think he's already there. And it's going to be really interesting. You and I will probably have this conversation much later on in the season. Where will he fall in the draft? Because I think this will be a really interesting draft for him and where he's going to fall at. But I'm going to pick Lenore Sellers, South Carolina quarterback, for my Heisman candidate. How about you, sir?
There's 5 or 6 quarterbacks to go to the top 10. No, I don't think there will be 5 or 6 to go to top 10, but that could. Like, this is going to be a really good quarterback class. Mm-hmm. If Arch comes out, he doesn't have to come out. Real quick on South Carolina, I looked it up. I was curious. I didn't look at their schedule before. They have a stretch where they play 5 straight games against LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. And they finish with Clemson. Brutal. That's just brutal.
So we'll, I was going to kind of save this for a moment, but since you're going to bring it up now, I think that's what's going to make Lenore Sellers the Heisman candidate. I think when you have a daunting stretch like that, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'll go ahead and reveal it. So you said they close out playing who?
Clemson.
Yes. And I think South Carolina will knock off Clemson. Okay. And once that happens, that will keep Clemson from making the top 12.
Okay. I disagree. So I have Arch Manning as the Heisman, of course. If a Manning puts up stats as much as anyone else, he will. No Manning has won the Heisman. Peyton absolutely should have won it. That was criminal. Yeah. I love Charles Woodson. Don't get me wrong. I love that guy. He helped the Packers win the Super Bowl. He had no business winning that Heisman. But I'm going to give you a sleeper. Marcel Reed for A&M. I love A&M this year. We already said that. Mm-hmm. Marcel Reed for Texas A&M really played well down the stretch. He did not play well in their final game, but other than that, he was really he's such a dynamic quarterback, and long shot SEC. I think he's got potential to win, but I would say Arch Manning.
All right, I'm over here realizing that I've had this banner up here forever and a day about baseball, and we've been into college football for a while. So I was doing other stuff and man, you have really messed this up. So here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, I told you we're going to do those 4 questions, and we're going to have a question about the SEC, and then we'll jump next into the Big 12. So here's my question for you, Chiefs, as far as the SEC. It was announced that the SEC will be going to a 9-game schedule. And I want to know, sir, does this benefit the fans, the players, or the team?
It hurts the teams.
Okay. Why would you say that?
Because you have to play another SEC team. And it's a deep conference. It's just a very deep conference. Like I said, 10 top 24 teams. So it hurts the teams, but I think every conference, if you have at least 14 teams in your conference, every conference should have to do it, because it could be years before you play another team in your conference, and that's not good. You should at least every 3 years should play your team. So I think it's better for like the fans in that you get to watch more matchups, more teams in your conference. You might not see, like, Tennessee doesn't play South Carolina this year. That kind of sucks, Yeah. So you get to see more matchups, and it also prevents teams from scheduling your McNeese State, your Old Dominions, games like that. Some teams schedule 3 of those every year, and those are just not fun to watch. Yes, you're going to win, but I think I think the Big 10 and Big 12 and ACC should do that as well.
So then it benefits the fans because we get better quality football. It does not benefit the team because you're going to be playing another SEC team.
Mm-hmm. It may lead to like LSU Clemson games might not happen. Texas, Ohio State, they might not schedule those anymore because they have to play 9 SEC games. So we might not get as many good non-conference games.
But won't that make the playoffs better?
I want both. I want Texas Ohio State rematch. I want to see it first, and I want to see it again in the playoff. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Because these teams never play each other twice.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it'll be interesting and see how they move forward with everything. That was kind of the point of the question. I wanted to find out what you thought. So let's go with Big 12. All right. Who do you have as the conference champion in the Big 12, sir?
We're going to have a different team is my guess. That's my guess.
Okay, let's see.
I'm going with the Utes, Utah. I feel like they're going back to the RPO, run pass option offense. I think that's when they had that. I think that's when they were most successful. I really like Kyle Whittingham as a coach. I think they do a good job on they're really good special teams. And most years they seem to win the games they should, at least. So I think it was tough. I wrote down 5 teams that I under consideration, but I'm going with Utah. What about you?
We'll talk about Utah for me here in a little bit, but my conference champion is different from yours. I might be a little bit more of a homer here because of where I'm from. And I really think that Arizona State wants to defend this title. And they've talked about it all off season. You know, this was not a fluke. We are a good team. We're going to come right back out and smash people in the mouth again. Their schedule is not that bad. And most of the teams that I think could beat them, they're playing at home. So that gives them another distinct advantage. So I'm going to go Arizona State as my conference champion. We're going to jump to our 2 sleeper teams. I'll go ahead and take those because you said Utah. Utah is one of my sleeper teams.
Real quick, let me just say Arizona State. The one thing about them that they snuck up on some people last year. They did.
Yes.
You can't do that again this year. And you oh my God, Cam Scadaboo. There were some games, this, like he just took over. So losing, I know he's just like a running back. It's just I could not do it because they didn't have Scadaboo. It's going to be tough to win without Scadaboo. But anyway.
Okay.
To win the conference.
It'll be. I'm smiling because I know what's coming. Because again, you and I have no idea what we're going to say for these questions. I know what I'm going to say, and we just wait, ladies and gentlemen. This will get interesting here in about 10 minutes. So my 2 sleeper teams. You picked Utah Utes for your conference champion. I do believe they can be a sleeper team. I think they can sneak up on some people. Last year they were not very good because of the whole Cam Rising thing, and they just got obliviated, but they had a good defense all year long, and they're returning most of that defense, and now they're going to have a pretty good quarterback. So I think that they will be in that mix. And then a team that I really like this team. I watched them in week 0, Kansas. I think Kansas is going to sneak up on some people too. So I picked Kansas and Utah as my 2 sleeper teams. Cheese, what teams did you pick?
Okay, so I have 2 different teams. So I went with what?
I said surprise.
Oh yeah. For some reason you're cutting out a little bit, but okay. So I went with Baylor, and I went with Iowa State. Now Iowa State's cheating a little bit because I did watch them play Kansas State and Ireland. I don't know if you watched that game.
Yeah.
So Iowa State impressed me a lot. I think a lot of people are down on them because if you watch the draft, they lost those 2 wide receivers, day 2 wide receivers, and they're both really good. So yes. I think they're underrated because of that. And they've already beaten Kansas State, so they already have a conference win. So I probably wouldn't have put Iowa State, but I had to. They're so well coached. And Baylor's one of those teams, I could see them finishing 7th. I could see them finishing 1st. They have some talent, and I really like Sawyer Robertson, their quarterback. So I'm going to go with Baylor and Iowa State.
Yeah, I honestly struggle between Baylor and Arizona State for my conference champion because I like you, think Baylor is a much better team than people are giving them credit for. The disappointing team, you just talked about them. I didn't like them last year before their quarterback got hurt. I don't like them this year. I think they're Texas Part 2 just in the Big 12. I believe that people are really hyping up Kansas State. I don't like them. I don't like. I certainly don't like the quarterback's family now. I'm sure you've seen, the big brawl that they got into afterwards and everything else. It's like, man, act like you've been there before. So they've already got one loss. So excuse me. So yeah, I'm going to pick Kansas State as my disappointing team in the Big 12 conference. What about you?
I don't know if it's my internet connection, but you were just breaking up bad. Maybe it's on my end. I don't know. Okay, it seems to be a little better now, but I also have Kansas State. I think a lot of people saw Avery Johnson, their quarterback, was back this year. Oh, they returned their quarterback, so they must be good. Avery Johnson, he's good. He isn't great. He isn't like, I don't know why some people are like, we're picking Kansas State to win the conference. Some were.
Yeah.
I just didn't think, talking about, Avery Johnson, they got him back. And I just don't know that I've ever, I've watched him play a plenty. I don't ever say like, he's amazing quarterback. But yeah, Kansas State could not get a stop too late in that game when they needed to. They could not get a stop. Iowa State looked like they just were just whatever they want to do. They could just grind down the field. So I also have Kansas State as my disappointment.
So we're finally going to agree on something.
Finally, that's the only time probably.
It took us a while. I know we're not going to agree on this one because the Heisman candidate, I remember him being really, really good down the stretch. And I remember panicking because he got hurt right before they went into the playoffs. And I wondered, even though they had Cam Scatterboo, I wondered if they were not going to be able to make it. And that's Jordan Tyson, the ASU wide receiver. I think you're going to see him really come on. He's going to be the main focal point. And I think that because of that, he's going to have a chance at the Heisman Trophy from the Big 12 Conference.
So I have the same team, but I have a different player.
So you must have Sam Levitt.
So I have Sam Levitt because if he does it without Scatterboo, it's going to look amazing. If he puts it, he can take – they could focus more on him on the offense, more the passing game. So I get your point. It's tough for a receiver to win the Heisman, although one just won it last year, but he played two positions. But yeah, I think Sam Levitt of all the I looked at. By the way, there are a lot of good quarterbacks in the Big 12. There really are. I'm going down the list. I'm like, okay, and yeah, my sleeper. I mentioned my sleeper for Heisman, long shot, but maybe has a chance. Is Sawyer Robertson. I really like him, the Baylor quarterback. I watched Baylor only probably play a few games last year, and he looked really good. I think he's going to have a big year.
All right, so let me give you the question I've got on the Big 12, and I got closer to the mic. Is the mic doing better now, by the way?
It is. It wasn't the mic. It was the connection, either internet. It was either mine or yours. I'm not sure which one, but yeah.
So the Big 12 seems wide open this year with up to 7 teams in the Big 12 really having a legitimate shot at being the conference champion. Does this, and I'm going to rephrase it the same way I did the question with the SEC. So who does this benefit? The fans, the players, or this time I'm going to throw college football as a whole in there? Who's the benefit more, fans, players, or college football as a whole?
So the first part of the question, you kind of broke up a little bit again, but I'm guessing you took the Big 12, the fact that it's deep or it's
wide open as well.
Wide open. Oh, I think it makes the conference way more interesting. Last year, it wasn't really talked about much. I didn't watch a lot of Big 12 till really Arizona State started taking off. I remember watching BYU early in the year, like random teams, but Colorado I watched some. But I think it benefits because you could have 5 2-loss teams in this conference. Like, it's real competitive and it's good for the fans. I like this. I wish the Big Ten was more like this. It's kind of more top heavy. I guess, I don't know, but it's just wide open. It's and deeper, and it's a stronger conference than it was last year for sure.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Let's move to the ACC, if you would, please, sir. So we're going to do conference champion, the 2 sleeper teams, the disappointing team, and the Heisman candidate from the ACC. You're going to see a theme from me here a lot in this conference as well, and I'm going to bank that it's not going to be the same theme that you're going to have. But conference champion, sir, who are you going to pick from the ACC for the conference championship?
Easy. I think there's one team that's better than the rest of them, and that's Clemson. They are absolutely loaded. they probably have the most top 100 talent for next year's draft than any team in the country.
Well, if you haven't noticed this yet, I really like going against all these teams that are really hyped up, right? I think that's one of the great things. So it's not going to be Clemson. I think it's going to be a team that I really like because of the coach. I like Jeff Brom. They now have the USC quarterback that's transferred in, Miller Moss, of course.
Miller. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
What I say.
And then the back half of their schedule, they play Miami, SMU, and Clemson in the back half of their schedule. And you may say, well, why is that so important? Well, I think it's going to give these young kids a few games to gel together and a few games to get their, they don't play a rough team in the very beginning. They play them all towards the end. I think for a young team, that's an advantage. And that's why I picked Louisville to be the conference champion of the ACC.
The one thing that worries me about Louisville is the pass rush. They lost some big time pass rushers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the pass rush will be as good, but I get it. I'll talk about Louisville in a second. I think. Oh, never mind. We'll get to that. What's the next one? I'm going a little too far down my notes. What's next?
Okay. So what are the two sleeper teams in the ACC according to Cheese?
I was jumping the gun then. Well, Georgia Tech did not lose a lot. I think Georgia Tech could be a potential sleeper to get in the playoff. They don't play SMU, Miami, or Louisville. So, Of course, they do play Clemson. And Louisville was my other one. Yeah, because they got Miller Moss from USC. And I think their offense could be really good at Louisville. So I get why you picked them to win it. Yeah, they're one of my sleepers.
All right. So I really can't put them as a conference championship and then not turn around and pick them as a sleeper team because everybody thinks Clemson's going to win. So the ACC, my first one is going to be Louisville. And the second one is a team that last year won 9 games. They now have a transfer in quarterback from Tulane, Darian Mensah, I believe is how you say his name. And then we're going to really know, and I can't wait till week 2 because this team plays Illinois at Illinois in week 2. And I think we're going to see just exactly what Duke is made out of when they do that. So my second sleeper team in the ACC is the Duke Blue Devils.
It's Duke. I mean, it's Duke. They'll go 6-6. Come on, it's Duke.
I'm trying to give them that's the definition of a sleeper team, Cheese.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously my disappointment team is going to be Clemson for things that I've already mentioned. We won't go into that a whole lot, but I'd love to hear who your disappointment team in the ACC is going to be, Cheese.
So I got 2. Should I flip a coin?
No, tell me both.
Well, Miami is not a top 10 team, in my opinion. They're ranked 10th. They're not. I don't like Carson Beck is so overrated. He's not a great quarterback. I mean, he lost his job to Gunnar Stockton. So Carson Beck had some games where he just was horrible. He had some good games, but I think Miami's overrated. They think, we got the Georgia quarterback, and people are overrating him because of that. And SMU made the playoff last year, but they're ranked 16th. They lost a lot, especially on defense. I was shocked how much they lost. So I don't think SMU will be ranked by the time the season ends.
I agree with you on SMU. I think they're going to fall out of the top 25, and I think they're probably going to do it pretty quick. Actually, to be honest, I think they'll get squeezed out by some of these other teams that are not ranked in the 25, and you're almost going to have to put them in there after the first few weeks. So I don't think Louisville's in the top 25, and I think they'll jump up there and maybe Duke will pop up there and stuff like that. So I'm going to bank that we are going to have the same Heisman candidate.
It's very possible.
Because I don't think there's anybody else that's as good of an athlete at his position, even though I think that they're going to be a really disappointing team this year. So Cade, it's Klubnik, right? Is that how you say his last name?
I believe so. Let's just go with that. Cade, yeah.
Okay.
Cade Klubnik. Yes.
So did you pick the same person, sir?
I did pick him. He could put up huge numbers. Their schedule is not very tough. But watch out for Kevin Jennings. I just said this for SMU. SMU's defense, I don't think is very, very good. They can get in shootouts, and Kevin Jennings, their quarterback, is very good. So he could put up huge numbers. He would need to put up huge numbers to win the Heisman, but he could put up some really big numbers. I just want to mention one more team, the SEC, the ACC, excuse me.
Yeah.
Syracuse, I don't know who picked their schedule, but it's brutal. No one in the ACC has a brutal schedule. They play Tennessee, Notre Dame, Miami, SMU, and Clemson. They're going to be heavy underdogs in all 5 of those games. Yeah. They scheduled Notre Dame and Tennessee, and Miami, SMU, and Clemson. So good luck, Syracuse.
Right.
And they lost their quarterback to the NFL. So
they're going to be black and blue, not orange, before the end of the season. So
pretty much, yes.
Yes. All right. 17 teams in one mediocre conference, which is what I believe the ACC is, right? So we know there's 17 teams, but I think they're in a mediocre conference.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help or hurt the ACC as far as like the second place team or the third place team, or how are we going to rank all the other teams that don't win a conference championship in the ACC?
Well, if Miami and SMU are as good as their ranking, then maybe they're not 1-17, but it's not good. It's not good for the conference. It used to be when I was a kid, it was Florida State and everyone else. They've been that conference at a lot of times. I remember there was one year where it was like Florida State and North Carolina were the only 2 ranked teams when I was a kid. It's not good. That was when Clemson kind of fell off for when they had like that Bowden as their head coach. But no, you want 3 or 4 good teams every year, and so it's not good. Yeah, the ACC has dropped off a little bit, but Florida State is one of the big reasons why they're terrible.
Okay, so I think the Big 12 has come up and the ACC has gone down. So I think we'll see, and we'll take a look at that once we do our 12 teams that will make the finals here. We'll see if we give them more Big 12 teams or more ACC teams. So it should be interesting here in a few moments. Yep. Let's do our last of the Power 4 conferences, which is the Big 10. This one hurts me a lot because I'm a big Ohio State guy, and I've only got Ohio State in one of these categories, and the rest of them are dominated by other teams. So let's go with conference championships. Or who do you think is going to be the conference champion in the Big 10?
Well, Ohio State didn't win the conference last year.
No,
they didn't. But they're going to win it this year.
Oh,
Ohio State, they get Penn State and Illinois at home. The only ranked team they play on the road is Michigan. So, and boy, they're going to want revenge for that. So, and of course, if they lose to Texas, that won't affect the conference at all. So, I'm taking Ohio State to actually win the conference this year.
Okay. Now, I have to say, I thought Ohio, you were talking about Syracuse earlier and how terrible their schedule was. And you're like, gosh, who picked that schedule? I know they picked these schedules years in advance. But for this season, I think you're 100% right. This is probably the best schedule that Ohio State could hope for. Now they just have to win. And, the schedule was tough enough to where they'll be ranked high enough. But it's not daunting to where if they lose 1 or 2 of them, they're going to fall completely out of the top 25. So I think Ohio State has the best of both worlds here with their schedule. But I'm still going to pick another team to be the conference champion.
Okay.
We did not pick a coach of any of these conferences, and I wondered if we should have, but I was doing so much research as it was. I was like, man, I don't want another category here.
The show would never end if you picked anymore.
Yeah, right? James Franklin has got to win the big one, and I'm gonna say this year that he's going to. And James Franklin's Penn State Nittany Lions will be the conference champions of the Big 10.
They never win it. Okay.
I've done this with another team too. I did it with what we do it with. You were like, oh no, that's never going to happen either. Who loses all the time? Oh, Duke, I believe is who we were talking about.
It's Duke.
Yeah. I'm trying to be an optimist here.
We didn't mention Bill Belichick's North Carolina, but I don't think they're going to be any that great. I really don't.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
I think that will be more. They'll be in the news, but it's because of all the distractions and all the stupidness, and not because of their football play.
Because of his girlfriend, yes.
Yeah. All right, so the conference champion for you is Ohio State. For me, it's Penn State. Pick your 2 sleeper teams in the Big 10.
So I have Iowa. And Iowa they're just well coached. And they're so tough to play at Iowa. Mm-hmm. I also think they have not really had a good quarterback in a long time.
It's true.
Just try to think back. Maybe Ricky Stanzi's last time they had a really good quarterback. Maybe
Oh.
I know it's a long time. They got Mark Gronowski, I believe that's his name. He's a transfer from South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
So lit it up last year. So I think it's the best quarterback they've had in a long time. And Iowa's just tough. They play you tough. They keep it low scoring and they find a way to win. So, Iowa could be a sneaky good team. That's the only one I had. I didn't have another one.
Okay, well, that's fine because I picked Iowa as well. We're going to agree on something again.
Okay.
Iowa, and then I threw Nebraska in there because I like Nebraska. I don't know if they're going to be able to win the conference or anything like that, but that's not really what this is. It's just it's a sleeper team that we think maybe could knock off one of the top 2 teams or something like that. So I think Nebraska has the ability to be able to do that. I actually have 2 disappointing teams. So let me take this real quick and then I'll throw it over to you. So with the first one is more with tradition than anything else. And, their coach is supposed to be just fantastic. And I just don't think he is. So I'm going with USC as my first disappointment team. And the second one, I really think they are really, really overhyped right now. And I think that they're going to get crushed in the week 2 game as Duke's going to beat them. So I'm going Illinois is also really overrated here in the Big Ten. So USC and Illinois are my 2 disappointment teams. Do you have 1 or 2 teams that are disappointments for you?
I have 2, but USC. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I don't think USC is going to be very good. Is Michigan really the 14th best team? I think it's because they're Michigan.
No.
They got bumped up 10 spots, 24, sure. Even 21 maybe, but I don't think Michigan's a top 20 team. They could by the end of the year. They're going to be better than last year for sure, but I think Michigan's overhyped. But, like I said, it's just the big name Michigan. And USC, I don't see them being very good at all. You mentioned, I just want to say real quick, Illinois and Indiana are just really interesting to me because they're not typical football programs. We know Indiana they were like the Arizona State of the Big Ten, snuck up on people. Illinois doesn't have a hard schedule. Mm-hmm. Indiana, they only lost to Notre Dame and Ohio State last year. The team's in the finals.
Yes, but they also had a very weak schedule.
They had a weak schedule, but they beat everyone they should. So, Illinois and Indiana, just looking at them, I feel like one of them is going to get in the playoff, but not both. I feel like one of them is going to be better than we think, and one of them is going to be worse than we think. But we'll see which one I pick later on.
Okay. Well, you're gonna. Oh, okay. Never mind. I see what you're going for there. All right. So you are going to put one of those in your top 12 then. That's interesting.
Actually, yes. It says I have to pick one. I still haven't picked it.
Okay. Fantastic. I can't wait to do things on the fly with you. That's great.
Well, Illinois they have a great offensive line. They only play Ohio State and Indiana, the only 2 ranked teams they play all year. So, but they play Duke apparently. They play Duke, who's going to be a top 5 team according to you.
Yeah, I'm not sure about top 5. Calm down over there. Don't make me take a grater to your cheese. All right. I actually think we're both going to say the same Heisman candidate, even though I went back and forth on this one. Okay. I almost said the quarterback for Penn State, Allaire, right? I believe is no, I don't think Allaire is right. Allard.
Drew Aller. Drew Aller.
I knew I wasn't right when I said it.
I did not pick him.
So I thought about putting him in this conversation, but I just couldn't pick him over Jeremiah Smith. So I'm thinking you're going to say Jeremiah Smith too.
I am saying Jeremiah Smith. He's the best receiver in the country. He's insane. Drew Aller, here's the problem with him. He lost Tyler Warren. Okay. Mm-hmm. And do you know in that loss to Notre Dame, Penn State had 0 catches from wide receivers.
No,
Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren was their offense. He was their offense last year. You don't have him. I'm not saying Aller's going to have a bad year. I think he'll have a good year, but I don't think he's a Heisman.
You probably should have led with that. Maybe I wouldn't have picked Penn State as my conference champion in the Big Ten. I appreciate you saving that to the very end, sir.
No problem. Tyler Warren looks really good in the preseason. Real quick, sleeper. There's a Cal transfer to Indiana. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Like him a lot. He was on a bad Cal team last year. Now he's in Indiana. Sleeper for the Heisman, Fernando Mendoza.
Okay. Well, there's never been a good Cal team, has there? I mean,
Aaron Rodgers was on the team at one point.
Again, there's still never been
20 years ago.
Oh, boy. All right. So I'm going to give you this for the question on the Big Ten, sir. If any conference should have 2 divisions, it should be the Big Ten. Do you like this where they don't have the divisions, and why or why not? Why do you like it when all the teams are fighting for the conference championship, or would you rather have like an East or West or North or South, and then those 2 teams, have a conference championship, and those two divisions do it, and then they play for the conference championship?
I like everyone. I don't want conference or divisions. I do not want division. I don't like it. Big Ten used to have the worst divisions. They had Michigan State was really good. Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, all in the same division, which means we never got a rematch in Michigan State or Ohio State, Michigan. We never got a rematch. And they had to play Wisconsin or Iowa every year. That's basically what it was. So I don't like divisions. I just want the 2 best teams, because you might have a year where the 3 best teams are in one division. So I think it's good that they ditch the divisions. What do you think?
No, I like the divisions. I really did. I mean, of course, right? But like I was saying, because of how the Big Ten has gone out and scooped everybody up, USC, UCLA, Washington, all of those teams out there on the West Coast where they just obliterated the Pac-12. I think that if it works for anybody, it would be the Big Ten. So I would like to see the Big Ten go back to like an East-West or something like that. And I do understand what you're saying, because 9 times out of 10, it was Ohio State, Michigan that would play, because, until recently, we didn't even talk about Illinois or Indiana or any of these other teams. Rutgers was never talked about, or Purdue, unless
we didn't talk about Oregon. We haven't even mentioned, no one's mentioned Oregon.
No, I know. And, I just don't think. But see, that's the problem with the way that the Big Ten's doing it. You're going to have some really good teams that are just going to get swallowed up by all the other talent, because there's so much talent in this, in what's going on here. I would be a proponent of limiting everybody to 10. Okay, you can have 10 teams, and that's it. That's all you can have. You got to pick 10 teams, and everybody else just kind of floats out here. And so then you start having a bidding war over who you're going to get. We talked last week about Major League Baseball maybe doing some kind of geographical realignment. I almost think that football, especially college football, has gotten themselves. Ohio State would need to go all the way out to USC and all the way out. Man, that's daunting.
Cal and Stanford are in the SEC or ACC. Cal and Stanford. That makes no sense. They might play Boston College.
Yeah.
And I like what you're thinking. The problem is you'd have to make the conferences even, because if you have 6 or even 7 or 8 conferences of 10 teams, that means 8 teams have to make the playoff. First of all, you probably have to make the playoff 16 teams, but you can't have a division where like no one's a top 20 team and they always get a bid. And then you have a team in the Big Ten or something that has 1 loss and misses it, That's the only problem I see with it. But I don't like these 4 huge conferences. Yeah, I don't like it. No.
But that's what I was getting ready to say, is what's the difference in having a top-heavy division and having a top-heavy conference? I mean, how many ACC teams are really going to get in the top 12?
I think I have one. I have one.
And then that's not good for the ACC. It's not good for that division as a whole, or that conference as a whole. So I don't know. I see both sides of it. I just wanted to throw it out there so we could have a discussion on it real quick before we do our top 12 college playoff teams. So I've got mine up here raring to go. I did not put these in any kind of order. So I didn't start with like the one I think is going to be ranked number 1 or the one I think is ranked number 2. I just basically went through and said, okay, here we go. Let's see what we can do. So I would like to start with this because we haven't talked about them yet. There has to be at least one team that is not in this Power 4 conference. How many teams did you pick in? I can't think of the wording right at the moment. That's not in the Power 4. What do they call those? The at large or something like that, right?
The mid-major, maybe? I don't know.
There's a word for it.
There's a word, but I picked one. I just won. Like Boise State last year was the only one.
So let's start with that. Which team did you pick that we haven't talked about yet?
Most people are picking Boise State, but I did not go with Boise State because I wanted to be different. But also, they lost the best player in the country, in my opinion, Ashton Jeanty. He literally just ran people over last year.
They do still have another good running back, though.
What'd you say?
I'm sorry, sir. They do still have another good running back there at Boise State, though.
Yes, but he's not Ashton Jeanty because
he's not. That's true.
Nobody is. So there is a team that got a transfer quarterback from BYU because he decided to have relations, which is against the code, so he had to leave.
I know who you're going with now. This is interesting. Go ahead.
And they always seem to have a good quarterback. And I'm going with the Green Wave. I'm going with Tulane. I think Tulane, they play Duke or Northwestern, both at home. They get them at home. They do play at Ole Miss. Probably not going to win that one. But their hardest conference game is probably at Memphis. And they can win that. They don't play Navy. So I like their schedule. Even if they lose to Ole Miss, if that's their only loss, then they're going to get in.
I think Memphis has a chance to be this team too, depending on what they do with some of their schedule. But I did go status quo. I stuck with Boise State. So Boise State was my only team that we haven't mentioned yet that is not going to be in the conference, or excuse me, that's not in the Power Four, that will still make the college football playoff 12 team. So let's see, how do we want to do this here? I didn't think about organizing this beforehand. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to start at the top and go 1 through 6. I'm going to give you 6 of my teams, and then I'll have you give me 6 of your teams, and then we'll go back and do 6 and 6. Okay.
Okay, you starting from like the top or like the bottom?
Like I said, I didn't put mine in any kind of specific order. So,
okay, we'll do 6 and 6. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to rattle off 6 teams. So I went Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, who we haven't talked about yet, but I still think they'll make this top 12 team. Notre Dame, I guess, would also be considered a non-power conference as well. And then Alabama. So I took Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Alabama. Give me 6 of your teams, sir.
I have those 6. So let's just say that you said Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, Alabama, and Oregon. I have all of those teams.
Okay, so then give me your other 6 teams, and let's see if we match again.
Clemson. You don't match.
I do not have Clemson.
Utah.
I do have Utah.
Let's see. I have Arizona State is getting second in the Big 12. The Big 12 gets 2 teams this year. I know you have them.
Yes, I do.
Tulane, obviously. I have Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee goes 10-2. Joey Aguilar is better than people think. All they have to do is beat either, like they have, let's see, Georgia, Florida, Alabama. What's their other tough game? I forget. And just win 2 of those 4. So I'm going Tennessee repeats in there. And I'm going to go Illinois because I love their offensive line. In Indiana, I just looked it up and now I lost it. They have to play. They get Illinois at home, but they're at Penn State, at Oregon, and at Iowa for Indiana. That is much tougher than last year. So I'll get Illinois sneaking in as my last team.
Okay, so we're going to have 4 teams that are different of these last 6.
Okay.
So you had Utah and you had ASU, which I have both of those teams. You did not have Georgia, right?
Georgia's the team I just think this might be a tough year for Georgia. I don't love their quarterback situation.
Okay, so I did put Georgia in the 12. I also put Louisville in the 12 that you didn't have. Boise State, of course, we discussed that a moment ago where you didn't have them, but I did. And then my real big dark horse here, I'm going to ride with this team the entire season. Duke. And they may ride me into the ground, but I'm going to ride with them. South Carolina. I did Duke. Put South Carolina in the top 12 as well.
What about Duke? That's your team.
No, I didn't. I think they're going to be good, but not this good. These are the top 12 teams in the nation, and I don't think Duke is going to be one of those. So we talked about the Heisman. Who do you think is going to win the Heisman Trophy this year, Cheese?
I'm going to go Cade Klubnik. Clemson. I think Clemson's going to be good. I think they're going to be like 11-1, win the ACC, 12-1, when they win the ACC title game. I think he's going to put up big numbers. The Clemson team's just loaded. So I'm going to go Cade Klubnik.
Okay. I'm going to pick the guy who was going to knock Clemson and Cade out of the top 12, and I'm going to go with Lenore Sellers. I really like him. Like I said, I'm going to ride with this South Carolina team. So this is what I pretty much do every year is I pick a team that I really think is going to be off people's radar, and I'm just going to get behind them and cheer with all I got and see what happens. So this year for me, it's going to be South Carolina.
Okay.
So we got one more question to answer, which was who is going to be the college football national champion? And then I'm going to give you the floor and let you talk about Notre Dame, because we're going to agree a lot on what I know you're going to say here. But I think it may stir up some controversy here with our fan base. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But who do you have winning the college football national championship?
This is going to surprise you.
Let's go.
So last year, none of the top 4 seeds won their first round game.
Yes.
So I'm not picking a conference winner.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I had my list here is Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, Utah, 1 through 4 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not picking those teams because it's tough when you have 3 weeks off and the other team doesn't. So I'm going to go with, I think you talked me into it. I think the Ty Simpson to Ryan Williams combo is going to be incredible. The defense is going to be great. Alabama is going to win the national title as a 7 seed.
Wow. Okay. Well, mine is not that. I don't think. Well, I don't know.
You picked them to win the SEC, so
because I did pick them to win one of the conferences, but you didn't pick this team to win their conference. I did. So I'm going. I said it earlier. I'm not picking South Carolina for this one. I do think they'll get beat.
Picking Duke.
No. But I am picking somebody who is not favored, I don't think, mainly because of who their coach is, because their coach has still not won a big game. Their coach has not been able to knock off any other Big Ten team, but I think they're a really good talent this year, and they stole the defensive coordinator away from Ohio State this year. So I think that's going to help them as well. I'm going to go, as much as it pains me to say it, the 3rd year in a row, Michigan, Ohio State, and now it will be Penn State for the national championship.
So, Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter are not there, just saying.
I know. They still got a pretty good defense, though.
They do. They do.
All right. So before we get into our truth top 10, which will be who is the defensive player of 2026, we'll do that here in a moment after we get done with our NFL stuff. But before we go NFL, Cheese, I know you want to talk about Notre Dame. Go ahead, buddy. Give it to us.
So if you do not know, Notre Dame is not in the conference, and they don't want to be, because when they get into bowl games or playoff games, they get to keep all the money. If you did not know this, all the money, say, Ohio State got for winning each playoff game, the university got, it spreads throughout the whole conference. That's the way it works. You're in a conference, every team gets a share. And Notre Dame doesn't want to share that. They want the money. And the reason they're not in a conference, and they can afford to not be in a conference, is because they have a contract with NBC and Peacock to televise their games. If they don't have that contract, they have to join a conference. And I don't like that they're not in one. I think you should have to be in a conference. And right now they can't be a top 4 seed because they're not in a conference. That's their only punishment. They can't get a bye. But what I would do, they were the 7th seed last year, I believe. Yes,
they were.
I don't think it should be able to be a top 8 seed. I don't think they should get a home game until they join a conference. 9th should be the best they can get. So I think they should have been the 9th seed last year, would have made Ohio State 7, Tennessee 8, and Tennessee would have played them at home. That is, I just think Notre Dame, I've been accused of being a Notre Dame hater. I'm not. Yes, I am. I don't like, we're Notre Dame. We can do what we want. We don't have to join a conference. I just feel like there's some arrogance about them. And I think there needs to be more of a punishment for not being in conference. So I think the highest seed they should be able to be is the 9th seed. And if they win on the road, then they have to play the number 1 seed. So that should be their punishment for not joining conference. What do you think?
No, I'm 100% with you. When you brought this up and you were, we've been texting back and forth as we always do throughout the week. When you brought this up, I was like, wow, I love this take. I have always thought that it was unfair that Notre Dame can just ride in and take what they want and then just ride right back out, right, with all the money and everything else. Yeah. 100% agree with you. And if, Army or Navy or one of these other, teams that does the same kind of thing as Notre Dame, which I don't join a conference, I would be on this.
Oh, they're in conference now. They're in a conference now.
Are they?
They were with Tulane. They're in that conference with Tulane. Yeah, they're in. They joined a conference. Yeah, a few years ago. I think it's just
West or something.
I think it's just UConn and Notre Dame. It's just UConn and Notre Dame. They're the only 2 teams.
They're the only 2 teams now.
Yeah, Army and let's see. It's can't think of American Conference. It's got Army, Charlotte, East Carolina, Florida Atlantic, Memphis, Navy, North Texas, Rice, South Florida, Temple, Tulane, Tulsa, UAB, and University of Texas, San Antonio. There you go. The American Conference.
But you know what? If Notre Dame was smart, they joined that conference.
They play an ACC schedule like 6 games or something like that. I'm not sure exact number. So they're basically in the ACC for every other thing, but they won't join the football. And I blame the ACC for this. They should have told them to go F off or join it in all sports, because it would instantly make the ACC a much stronger conference, like overnight.
Would.
So why does the ACC let them do it in every sport but football? So I don't like Notre Dame because of that. I don't like that the ACC lets them get away with it. And I don't like that NBC gives them this TV contract because they have a national fan base, but no other team has.
I get the business side of it. That's not Notre Dame's fault that they have garnered this. I think it's with you. I think it's the ACC's fault.
Yeah, they should be able. They should have to join a conference, in my opinion. But
all right. Well, I think that's an interesting take. I really like that, and I love the 9 seed part. It's not every day that we agree on a lot of stuff, but I really like this take. This might have been, in my opinion, one of the better things that you've talked about in your college football stuff with us. I really like this take. I think this should be a big time punishment because, as you said, you didn't actually say this to me, but as I was looking through, I was like, oh, well, if they get the 9 seed, then they're going to have to turn around and play the 1 seed, which is what you just pointed out, right? So they
go on the road against the 8. Like Tennessee had to go to Ohio State. Boy, that killed them to play in that cold weather. They got hit in the mouth in that game, and that's tough. To be the 9 seed is the worst seed because you have to go 8 seed, and then if you win, you play the 1 seed. So would you just give me a compliment? I did. You know what else I'm going to do for you right now? What is your YouTube channel so people can go over and subscribe? Let's just get all this out of the way and just pat yourself on the back. What's crazy is it took 2 hours and I haven't even brought it up. I usually bring it up like 17 times by now. It's so on YouTube it's at Football with Cheese. You can see on the screen Cheese CHEEZ. So yeah, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Doing about 2 a week now, probably be more 3 a week once the season starts. And follow me on X at Football Cheese. Same thing, but without the with in it.
Okay. And then you also write for a website because you're a huge Packers guy, right? So tell us what the website is.
Yes, it's PackersTalk.com, Packers with an S. And I write a weekly article. They're published every Monday. So go to PackersTalk.com and check it out.
And you know what I think is the greatest thing about that website? If you go over there and you click on his article, you're going to figure out what his real name is because it doesn't say a word about cheese. Oh.
You will find out my real name. Yes.
I understand. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why you call yourself Cheese, why everybody else called yourself Cheese too. But just an interesting tidbit you can find out. And I always thought maybe that I think you should rename your channel Ham and Cheese, but that's
Yeah, it's tough when my name's Tony Stark. It's tough. So yeah.
All right, buddy. So you can also go to www.welikesportspc.com, which is the website that I'm with. I do a lot of editing, do some recruiting, and do a little bit of writing, but not too much time to do that stuff much anymore. And then I can tell you that Cheese and I and a few other people are getting together. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so, we'll be able to make this announcement as to what we're kind of doing. We're gonna do some great things for you, to our fans as well, and it should be a really good venture. We'll get that all out to you here in the next couple of weeks. All right, buddy. So you wrote the – go ahead.
And just real quick, I just want to say for everyone watching, next week is the NFL preview show. So we will do all our predictions for the NFL season. So make sure you check that out.
Yes, I'm going to have to start researching probably tonight. So it's there's a lot of stuff to look at. Yep. So yeah, but we're going to do some NFL right now, actually. Cheese, you wrote us some great questions. Go ahead, bud. What do you want to do for the first question in our NFL 4-down territory?
So Terry McLaurin signed a 3-year, $96 million extension, $32 million per year from Washington. He gets $30 million guaranteed. The rumor was Washington preferred some contract closer to like Cortland Sutton. And Cortland Sutton got 4 years, $92 million. So that's only $23 million a year, but he got $41 million guaranteed. So $11 more million guaranteed. Do you think Washington, do you think they caved?
Ooh, did Washington cave?
He is turning 30 next month. I think that's
so
what
I would say no. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I know you will. Didn't they, instead of him getting the guarantee, didn't they give him all the guarantee up front? Like they made it like a signing bonus, and they gave it all to him like right now?
That's a great question for Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport. I do not know the answer, but
that's fine. I was reading somewhere where I thought maybe that they gave it to him all in a bonus up front. So I think Washington did what Washington should have done. Which is they stood their ground, and because he's an older player, they're like, okay, we'll give you money, but we're not going to give you guaranteed money. It's kind of like the Hendrickson thing. We'll get to that in a moment, I know, but the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson had a deal worked out a long time ago. Mm-hmm. As far as the years and the money, but what they were fighting over was how much guarantee was going to be given. $30 million of what I believe 96, right?
3 years, 96, yes, but only 30 of it guaranteed.
Yeah, $30 million of that guaranteed is really not that much guaranteed. So I think Washington did the smart thing here because of his age. They gave him a larger contract, but didn't guarantee him a lot of money. So I think Washington did this the smart way.
So you think McLaurin took a smaller deal just to get it done? Smaller guarantee, I mean, just to get it done?
Yeah, probably so. I mean, I think he could have held on to it and probably gotten 50 of it guaranteed instead of 30.
Okay. So what contract would you prefer? If you're the player, you're Mike Ballantyne, the wide receiver. So I can see that, right? Can you?
Yeah. Okay. I'm probably more of a tight end, but let's not, it's a family show, so let's not go there.
Okay. So what would you prefer? The 3 years, $96 million with 30 guaranteed, or would you prefer 4 years, 92, so less, like I said, $9 million less a year, but 11 more million guaranteed, 41 guaranteed, like Cortland Sutton? Which one would you prefer if you're the player?
Well, I guess it depends on how much you believe in yourself, right? I mean, if you believe in yourself, then you go for the better overall contract that gives you more money. Well, wait a minute. I mean,
Mike, do you believe in yourself? That's the question.
Well, I do believe in myself, probably a little too much, actually. I'm a little, especially at that job. So I'm a little cocky and conceited. And there's people out there. We're probably going to get a ton of comments right now, like, yes, he is. Yes, they're all. But I also understand the business side of it from a team perspective, that they can cut you at any time, and it doesn't. I mean, we've seen it where teams cut really good players just because of the money that they're owed.
Yep.
So I think I'm still going to bet on myself, and I would take the contract that maybe didn't have as much guaranteed money, but would pay me more money in the long run.
Okay. All right. So let's start Trey Hendrickson.
Let's do it.
He agreed to a revised contract with the Bengals. He was doing a hold-in. He wanted a long-term deal. He said, I want to be a Bengal. He said he liked playing there, and they couldn't come to a long-term deal. Like you said, probably could not agree on guaranteed money. So he goes from 1 year, like $16 million deal to a $30 million deal. So they gave him $14 million more, almost double for this year, but he's still a free agent at the end of the season. Do you think this new contract, does it benefit Hendrickson more or the Bengals more?
Well, this is no doubt here. It certainly benefits Hendrickson a lot more. This is the Bengals. The Bengals have messed this up from the get-go.
Yes.
And
yes.
it culminated in this, which is terrible. So they gave him money they didn't have to get him to shut up and play ball. That's what this comes down to. And they didn't even sign him long term. He's still a free agent at the end of the year. So they just handed him like 14 more million and said, Trey, can you, we need you. Can you just be a really good football player? And you know, you and I have, again, we texted back and forth, and you know my stance on this. Shut up and play out your contract.
Yep.
What are the Bengals doing? They don't get anything for this extra $14 million. All they get is a guy that's now supposed to be happy. To be honest with you, I don't care if the guy's happy.
He wasn't going to probably sit out the year. They didn't have to do this.
No,
and
they did not.
Because they couldn't agree on guaranteed money. One of the best pass rushers in the NFL, led the league in sacks last year. I just don't know what the thinking was. And now he's going to be a free agent. Yes, they could franchise him. That will pretty much kill your cap, though, if they do that.
I believe $34 million if it stands the way it is right now for a year.
Which will limit what they can do to re-sign people or go for outside free agents.
Yeah,
like the Bengals go for outside
Burrow and Chase and T and everybody. I mean, they can't pay everybody.
Right. But it's like the Bengals don't go out and sign big name free agents anyway. They just don't do it. They just are like, we don't care. We don't need to be good. So here's the point. Now, any player who has a good year, who's got 1 year left on his deal, can say, hey, look, you almost doubled Hendrickson's deal. Give me more money this year.
Yep.
I want a revised contract. I'm holding in. It might happen next year with one of their other good players. So I think the Bengals did everything wrong and could not have handled it worse. And they could have paid him so much less if they paid him before Myles Garrett got $40 million a year. They could probably have gotten him a long-term deal like 26, 27, 28 million. They probably could have. But they did. They're the Bengals. That's what they do. So, yeah, I think you've answered the rest of the Bengals questions right there. But I think, I would have given him. I know he's 29, but I would have given him at least a 3 or 4 year deal, wouldn't you?
I would give him a 3 year with like an option for a 4 or something like that. Based on maybe number of sacks or some kind of production escalator or something such as. I'm a big I'll give you a smaller base, but I'll give you a really large escalator if you perform well, because I believe if you perform well, especially at that position, if you're performing well, then they're probably making the playoffs. They can reap that money back. So if I was a GM, I would very seldom would just pay a straight deal. I would try to do incentives and stuff like that. So just because of that simple fact that I think if you're making those incentives, then the team is making the playoffs. So that's just me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. All right. Next topic. We got to talk Jerry Jones, unfortunately.
Of course we do.
So he's been talking to Micah Parsons, the edge rusher, about a new contract, who's also holding in. According to the collective bargaining agreement, owners must go through their agents in contract talks if the player has an agent, because not every player does. Lamar Jackson doesn't. And Parsons doesn't count. His mom does not count, apparently. But Micah Parsons has an agent. So Jones has also been doing it for years with other players as well. Former cornerback Darrelle Revis, one of the best to ever do it at the cornerback position, he's not happy about this. He posted a letter on X calling out the players' union for letting Jones continuously get away with it. Do you agree with Darrelle Revis?
I do. If that's the rule, why? It's. We said this earlier when we were talking about Notre Dame and the ACC, right? Why does the ACC allow Notre Dame to not, join their conference on football, but they have everything else? It's the same thing. Why do they let Jerry Jones negotiate with players and just go around the agent? If it's a rule, and obviously it is, then I don't care who you are. You shouldn't be able to break the rules. I know that Jerry has a lot of influence in the NFL as a whole, but he shouldn't be able to skate past the rules that they have set up in the bargaining agreement.
I agree. I'm not sure. I didn't know about this until Darrell Reeves posted this. I did not know he's been doing this for years. I mean, do you think that Jerry Jones should be disciplined for breaking the CBA? Should he be fined, something like that?
Well, I mean, so from what I don't know if you have the whole tweet. I've got it here somewhere that I can find it relatively quickly. But he basically said, by the way, we're the fourth highest rated, because I clicked over to see it here. So we're the fourth highest rated podcast going on right now of over our over 7,000 people. We're number 4. So
wait a second.
Let me see here. I can get it because I posted it up on our.
I don't know if this person is a legit. Hold on, this person doesn't. There's some crazy news, but I can't confirm this is a legit account. Anyway, go talk.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't post it up here. I thought that I did, but I've gone pretty far down into my
phone.
That's all right. So as far as you can't really fine him, right? I mean, because if I remember correctly, by reading the post earlier, that's what they are going to do to him is fine him. Any amount that you fine Jerry Jones is.
It's like finding you and me a nickel.
Right. I mean, yeah. So I don't think that's the answer. But, I'm not sure what the answer actually is. I mean, do you make him suck worse and you take draft picks away from him? Or, that's not good for football, right? And I'm sure that's how the collective bargaining agreement would be looking at it.
Well, do you think the NFL should get involved? Do you think the NFL should have a talk with Jerry and say, look, you got to stop doing this or we're going to fine you, start taking picks away? Because if he's been doing it and no one's doing anything to stop it, he's going to keep doing it.
Right. There's nothing to stop him, right?
I'm Jerry Jones. He thinks he can do what he wants. He's like an 82-year-old billionaire stuck in his ways. So he's going to do whatever he thinks, what he wants.
Yeah, he's like Scott Boras in MLB, right? He thinks he can do pretty much whatever he wants. And unfortunately, both of them are correct. They both pretty much do whatever they want.
Yeah,
I don't know what you do. I mean, because you can't really. If Jerry's doing it, then you can't punish the Dallas Cowboy fans for something that they're.
He's the owner. You can punish the team. He's not supposed to be doing this. I think they should at least talk to him and maybe even give him a small fine and say, look, it's fine in draft picks next time. Like, you cannot do this. And Jerry's so dumb to go on Michael Irvin's podcast and admit he's doing it.
Yeah.
Jerry just, he's in his own world. These narcissists, they're just in their own world. These rich, they just don't, like Jerry Jones, it's all about him. He does press conferences all the time. He just wants to talk about the Cowboys. He reveals things he shouldn't. He has tours when these players are working out. Like, it's unbelievable. The way his mind works. Like, I would run the team so much different than he does. Completely different. If I was the owner of the team, you would hardly hear from me. I would hardly ever talk to the media. Only when
it's like an umpire, and I know I keep comparing it to baseball, but it's like an umpire in baseball, right? If they shouldn't be the center of any game ever. You shouldn't be talking about how that third strike was the wrong call or that ball 4 was the wrong call or any of that kind of stuff. They should be out of it. It should be between the players. And you've got a guy in Jerry Jones who thinks he's God because, he has all this stuff and he's 80-something years old and he's got more money than God. And he thinks he can just do whatever he wants and nobody's stopping him.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure how you stop it.
And you mentioned baseball. Not since maybe George Steinbrenner has there been an owner in baseball. Most owners in baseball you don't even know who they are. You never see them unless they won the World Series. Like right. George Steinbrenner was the one, but I just can't think of another that does anything close to this.
And honestly, that's what made me hate the Yankees from a young age, or not young, but because I'm an old man. But that the George Steinbrenner was the driving force that made me not like the Yankees. And to be honest with you, I feel the same way with Jerry Jones. He's the driving force that makes me not want to root for the Cowboys. When they get beat, I'm happy.
A lot of people think that way. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that just absolutely despise the Cowboys, and I started hating them not for Jerry Jones, because for a while there when I was a little kid, they just every year would always beat my Packers. Eventually, Aikman, Irvin, Emmitt Smith got old, and Packers started beating them. And now they pretty much own them. But when I was a kid, they just could not beat them. It was so frustrating. All right. So today was cut down day, or the day teams they have to get down to 53-man roster. I think it was a pretty normal day. It didn't want anything super surprising. But did you have any surprise cuts you thought would make the team?
I've got 3. I'm not going to say they're surprise cuts. First of all, I was really, I was surprised by 2 of them, and the other one is just kind of an anomaly. I was a little surprised that the Seahawks cut Marquez Valdez Scandling, just because we get to say his name over and over again.
MVS, yes.
yes. Especially with, I think they could have traded him, because there are tons of teams out there that need additional receivers. I'm really surprised.
Speed receiver.
Yeah,
he's got speed.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you'll see him go to Pittsburgh, to be really honest. I think Pittsburgh will be the one that pick him up.
He's got that connection with Aaron Rodgers. They played together for many years. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I've also already seen a rumor that the Arizona Cardinals are reaching out to him, as far as a few sources that I have around the town. The one that really surprised me was Buffalo. Buffalo cut Frank Gore Jr. I was shocked by this one. I don't know if you know, but he's the only back in the preseason that got over 100 yards rushing and over 100 yards receiving. So I know it's the preseason, and you don't put a whole lot of stock in that, but he's young. He's got the bloodline. He's got a lot of things going for him, and not much negative against him. And I didn't understand why Buffalo cut him, unless they think they can put him on the practice squad and nobody else is going to pick him up.
I'll tell you why they cut him. They already had their 3 running backs set. It was not a good team to choose. When you're an undrafted free agent, you should pick a team you have a really good chance to make it. Unless there was an injury, he wasn't going to make it. I know his dad played there, but James Cook, Ray Davis, and Ty Johnson are their 3 running backs. Those 3 are going to make the team. So the Bills would either have to carry 4 running backs, maybe a handful of teams in the NFL do, or someone would have had to get hurt. But if he's not claimed, he'll be on the practice squad. But it's just a tough team to crack. There are other teams he probably could have picked that were had a better chance to make the team.
All right, I'll save my anomaly for a moment. Was there anybody that surprised you that got cut today?
Yeah, I had 3 as well. This one's probably not a name that most people know, but I love watching with Texas A&M. It's Ainias Smith. He was a 5th-round pick last year by the Eagles, and he was a great return man at A&M. Also a wide receiver. He's undersized. He's small, but he was such a good return man in college. And I wanted the Packers to draft him and make him the kick punt returner. And the Eagles got him, 2024 draft, 5th round, and they never used him as a return man. He made the team last year, won a Super Bowl, but they never used him as a return man. They didn't use him as his strength. So Ainias Smith, I could see a team picking him up just to be the return man. Greg Dulcich, tight end. He led the preseason in touchdown catches. He's a real athletic tight end. He used to be on the Broncos. Didn't really work out there, but the talent has always been there. But it looked like he was putting it together. And the Giants don't necessarily have a great tight end room. So that surprised me. And I had one more. Hunter Renfrow. I know he had the autoimmune disease and missed all of last year. But in 2021, this dude was a Pro Bowler. Caught over 100 balls. He's a great route runner. Maybe it's the disease he had. He just wasn't able to come back. But he can help a team. I just maybe it's health reasons. But, I'm rooting for – he was so good in college at Clemson as well. So I'm rooting for Hunter Renfrow.
All right.
And you have one more.
I do. Well, it's not one person. I read this from, hang on, let me get the person who sent the tweet out. Let me give them credit here. Let me go over and take a look. Titans Truths, at Titans_Truths. We do not follow them, but you know what? Let's do it right now. Just follow them. Let's see what happens. Maybe they'll follow back. Maybe I'll unfollow them when they don't follow us back. But we'll give them a shout out here. Yeah, we'll give them a shout out here on the Sportz Truth. I thought this was interesting. I tell you what, let me just read it right from what they say. So Cam Ward's entire offense at Miami got cut from the NFL today. He was the #1 pick. So what is, he obviously he's with the Titans because he's called Titans Truths. So he was making the point basically that his whole offense got cut today in the NFL, and he was the only one that was standing. So does that mean that he is a better player than everyone was thinking that he was? Did he carry that team basically is what he was saying.
You mean in Miami?
At Miami, yes.
Well, Elijah Arroyo didn't get cut. 2nd-round pick of the Seahawks at tight end. That's the, obviously he's a stud in preseason. But
well, then maybe we should just go right back and unfollow the guy right now.
But that's the one. No, Elijah Arroyo, it was his tight end in college. He definitely didn't get cut. He had a really good preseason. But
all right, so that was my anomaly because I thought it was, I was just taking his tweet from Truth because he calls himself Titans Truth for God's sake.
He probably just forgot about Elijah Arroyo.
It could be.
People forget about the Seahawks up Pacific Northwest. They forget.
All right. I want to do one more thing before we do our top 10 because I teased this last week. Let me go back to my notes from last week. You're going to hear me turn a couple pages here. And if you remember, I said most career earnings by an NFL person per draft round. And I've got these right here in front of me. We'll do those real quick, and then we'll get into our Truth Top 10. And we will say adieu to everyone here in just a few moments. But let's do this first. So round number 1, the person that's made the most money from round 1 is Aaron Rodgers, $342 million in his career. So he was drafted in round 1. He has made the most money out of anyone ever drafted in round 1.
Just glad you didn't say Deshaun Watson.
In round number 2, another quarterback, another really good quarterback. Actually, most of these are quarterbacks. Drew Brees was drafted in round 2 out of Purdue, and he made $270 million in his career.
He was the very first pick of round 2. Yep.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
In the 3rd round, I was a little surprised that some of these quarterbacks were drafted so late. Russell Wilson, $266 million in his career, and he was drafted in the 3rd round.
Is Dak
the 4th round?
Is it Dak?
No, Dak is not in here, actually.
Okay. Well, he was a 4th round pick. Yeah, okay.
He was a 4th round pick, but Kirk Cousins made more money than he did, and Kirk Cousins was also a 4th round pick.
Kirk Cousins has made something like he's won 1 playoff game. Like there's no one even close. Like the most money with like 1 playoff game, and almost everyone else that has 3 playoff wins that has made that much money. It's crazy. But anyway, go. Sorry.
That's all right. It's fine. Kirk Cousins is in round 4, $232 million. Round 5 is a receiver, and the money really drops off because looking at Kirk making $232.
Tyreek Hill.
Do what?
Tyreek Hill. Is it Tyreek Hill?
It is not. $108 million.
It's not Tyreek Hill. Fifth round.
5th round.
Antonio Brown.
SD are his initials.
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, that is correct. Stephon Diggs, 5th round pick, $108 million. For the 6th round, we go back to a quarterback.
It's got to be Tom Brady.
It is Tom Brady. Tom Brady, at $333 million out of the 6th round. The 7th round guy is, let's see, was he he was a quarterback as well. He's probably more famous for what he does as an analyst on television now.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick in the 7th round, yes, $82 million. And then I didn't go down all the way through, but now I wanted to give you the highest paid ever undrafted player. No?
It's probably more recent.
It's not that much more recent, but he does a lot like Ryan Fitzpatrick does. Jerry Jones actually did it right.
Jerry Jones did. Oh, Tony Romo.
Tony Romo, yes. Tony Romo, undrafted, right. Made $127 million in his career. So
he was in camp with the Packers his rookie year, but he didn't make the team. He was the 4th quarterback.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. All right, sir. So we got one more thing of business to take care of, which is the Truth Top 10. Let's get this off of here. Let's go to this one. Pull up the Truth Top 10. Let's go to some music here for a moment. Let's see, which one do we want to do? I don't know. How about this one? Our last segment, and we are going to decide who will be the Defensive Player of the Year in 2026. We will count them down from 10 to number 1. Now, this was pretty difficult for me, actually. I am not the big defensive NFL guru that the guy on my right is. So I think this list will be interesting because I'm thinking he's going to have some.
It's going to be different.
Yeah, he's probably going to have some people on his list that I am not going to have on my list because he can dig into these stats and all of this, and I'm just going to go with popular belief here. So I will start my number 10 guy because you want me to wait a minute? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
Well, you had your finger. I know.
Sorry.
I was doing the campaign with Dumbo thing there. I was
the thing where I'm like, oh wait, one more second, and then I talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And probably plug your podcast and all kinds of stuff within that time
Football
frame.
with Cheese on YouTube.
Yes.
Subscribe,
there you
please.
go. Good job, sir. So I put him here because I'm not sure what he's going to play. I'm not sure which side of the ball he's going to be on. So I put him at number 10. That is Travis Hunter, if he is a cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I didn't even list him because I think he's going to play mostly wide receiver and maybe half the snaps at most at corner. We'll see. So I didn't even list him.
Okay.
My number 10, and you might have to help me with his name. JT Tuimoloau. He's an edge rusher drafted by the Colts in the 2nd round at Ohio State. He's just one of those guys he's going to be good. I don't think he's got a high ceiling, but he had a really good preseason, and I could see him lucking into 8 or 9 sacks and, possibly winning it.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Just Tua. That's all you need to do.
JTT. Let's call him JTT throughout the draft process. Yeah.
That'll work too. A couple of these people, I guess, since I made this list a day or two ago, have now been put on the PUP list. And I think I have a couple of the guys who are on the PUP list. I know my number 9 guy was put on the PUP list earlier today. And that's why I put him at number 9, because I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to play right away. And that's Walter Nolan, defensive tackle that is now with the Arizona Cardinals. So I put him at 9, and then he did get put on the PUP list today. So that means he can't play for the first 4 games.
I took him off the list because of that. When you miss games, it's just hard to win Rookie of the Year. So I did not put him on my top 10.
Okay. So who you got at 9?
I also have an Arizona Cardinal, though, at number 9. I have Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan. He's looked really good in camp. He fell the 2nd round because he wasn't healthy and he didn't run a 40. And I think the rumor was some teams on tape didn't think he had the elite speed to run with some of the receivers. So I think those 2 reasons, they worried about his speed and he was hurt, is why he fell. But absolute steal in the 2nd round. The guy's a stud. So I think he's a ball hawk. He would have to. It's tough for corners to win. He would have to get like several pick sixes, maybe like 3 pick sixes. But I had to put him on the list. He's just too good.
Okay. I certainly respect that. I did not have him on my list, but I do respect the fact that you did. I went with the Cincinnati guy, the edge rusher, Shamar Stewart at number 8. He is going to be across from Trey Hendrickson now, and I think that will raise his stock up a little bit, but I wouldn't put him in the top 5, so I settled on him at number 8.
I didn't have him in the top 10 just because he is really talented. His ceiling is so high, but he's a better run defender than pass rusher. Now he needs to learn more moves, so I don't think he's quite a finished product. So I think he's more like year 3 breakout type guy. That'll be his year where he becomes elite.
Okay.
Number 8, I had Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. It's tough for defensive tackles to win it, but Mason Graham could, just because he's just always in the backfield. On our draft show, I talked. That's what I said about him. He's always in the backfield, so he could get a lot of sacks for defensive tackles. So so I had to put him in the top 10.
All right, I completely understand it. So far, I don't think we've had anybody that is going to be in the top 10, because you told me that you didn't put Hunter, you didn't put Nolan, you didn't put Stewart. Let's see if we get the Dallas Cowboy guy in the top 10 like I put him at number 7. That is Tyler Booker, who is the guard there with the Dallas Cowboys. I put him at 7.
Tyler Booker's an offensive player. This is defense.
Yeah,
He's an offensive guard. What'd you say?
I don't know what to tell you. He's already on the list. You know what? I'll be a homer and put the Arizona Cardinal cornerback right here.
Will Johnson. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I have a Dallas Cowboy at my number 7. So I have Donovan Ezeraku, their second-round pick. He's an edge rusher from Boston College. I think it's one of the biggest steals in the entire draft. I thought for sure he'd go in the first round. When the Packers they picked Matthew Golden, but they were talking about moving down to 32 with the Eagles. Serious talk, so much that Ian Rappaport was tweeting about it, that it might happen. I thought Ezeraku would have been a great pick at 32, but he falls in the 40s. And he's undersized, but he is an incredible edge rusher, and he has the length. That's the one thing about him. He's athletic. He's got the speed and length. So I don't know why he fell, but Donovan Ezeraku, he could be a double-digit sack guy his rookie year.
All right. Like I said, you know a whole lot more about these defensive guys than I do. I'm just going to shot in the dark here pretty much at these guys. Everybody who's still with us, and there's 53 people who are, we appreciate all of you. You should be paying attention to Cheese's list a lot more than mine. So I'm going to go, even though he's with the Giants, and he was injured in the draft process, I still put him in my top 10. I'm going Abdul Carter, edge rusher for Giants at number 6.
Okay, more on him later.
Okay.
He's an absolute stud. Number 6, I had Jihad Campbell. He's a linebacker from Alabama, drafted by the Eagles. Probably fell because of a shoulder injury. Couldn't do anything in the offseason. But I think I had him in my top 15. I mean, he's such a good off-ball linebacker. He's explosive, and he can even rush the passer if you need him to, because he's got the length. He's undersized, so he'd be a good blitzer. And I think the Eagles have a plan for him. So, yeah, Jihad Campbell, Eagles at number 6.
All right. So my top 10 going up to number 5 would be Travis Hunter, Walter Nolan, Amir Stewart, the
Will Johnson.
There you go. That one up pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Abdul Carter was number 6 for me. I like Denver. I like what they're doing with a lot of their defensive guys, and they picked a defensive guy in the first round. So I went with Jahad Barron, a cornerback for the Denver Broncos, as my number 5 guy.
Yeah, Jahad Barron. I didn't actually put him just because I think he might be their number 3 corner. I don't know how much snaps he'll play. It's already a position of strength, the secondary for the Broncos. So I did not have him. At number 5, I went with Carson Schlesinger, linebacker with the Cleveland Browns. He was the first pick of the second round. He's just a stud. His instincts are incredible. He could lead the league in tackles because the Browns are going to be playing from behind a lot, so teams are going to run on him. So I think he should go in the first round. Absolute steal for the Browns. Carson Schlesinger, number 5.
So the team that named Gillen Gabriel their second-string quarterback and Shamir their third-string quarterback today.
I saw that coming. I have 2 Browns in this list. I just realized Mason Graham and Schlesinger. Maybe the Browns will actually be better than we think. Yeah, right.
On paper. All right. Another quarterback for me, and I know it's hard for cornerbacks to win, but I really thought this was a cornerback talented draft that a lot of teams got, and I'm going to go with the Buffalo cornerback, Maxwell Harrison. So that's who I put at my number 4 guy, as Cheese gets a drink from his Spidey Orange.
Spidey.
Today.
Comes out next year, Spider-Man. Yes. Maxwell Harrison, if he was put on IR, so I didn't have him on the list. So my all of my top 4 are edge rushers, by the way. But
so you probably should have led with that, by the way. I had no idea he was put on the IR today.
He was put on the IR today, but that's okay. He's really good. My top 4 are all edge rushers. So there we go. Spoils. Right. Number 4, I have James Pierce from Tennessee, edge rusher. The Falcons. Speed. He has as much speed as any edge rusher in his class. Well, maybe not named Edward Carter. And I didn't love that Pierce did better against the worst competition, but there's no doubt his talent. Late freshman pick of the Falcons. He's going to be a designated pass rusher, so he could, just like Ezeraku, he could get double-digit sacks.
Well, I can tell you that our top 3 are going to be different because I don't have another edge rusher in my top 3. So,
okay. All right.
I mean, I do the best I can with this football stuff here, but I mean, Cheese is the guy. That's why we have him on this show. You know, he's the football guy. I'm more the baseball guy, so that's why we do a really good tandem back and forth, and that's why we call this thing the Sportz Truth, right? So I picked these.
Well, let me tell you
guys.
why. I'll just tell you why I picked all these edge rushers. Sacks are such a big stat nowadays, and if you have a lot of sacks, you're going to get media attention. And it's really not necessarily the best rookie. It's maybe like the biggest rookie with stats. And so edge rushers, pass rushers to me, have better chances to win rookie of the year. So that's kind of what my thinking was.
All right. Well, my thinking was good defensive teams picked up a good defensive player. That's what my three people are. So safety, Malachi Sportz went to Baltimore. Baltimore's got a good defense. I would say, okay, well, then he's got a pretty good chance of winning this Rookie of the Year because he's going to be put in the middle of a really good defense and a really good defensive team. So that was where my thinking was as far as my number 3 guy starts in Baltimore.
He's a really good fit for their system. He just missed with me. He was on the cusp. I just couldn't put him because, I just couldn't find a room on the list for me. My number 3 is Mike Green, another Baltimore Raven. He was their second-round pick from Marshall. He would have been a top 15 pick for sure if there wasn't some character issues, some things in the past. But he had a great preseason. He's looking like an absolute steal right now. And, I can say this about all these edge rushers. I could see him double-digit sacks.
Yeah, honestly, that was the guy I was trying to get the Bengals to pick. I really wanted him to be on the opposite side of Trey Hendrickson. I think that would have worked out well. But, what do I know? Maybe a little more than I thought because he's really high on.
He was a big character. He's been accused twice of something really bad, twice. So it was a risk. But Baltimore, they didn't take him in the first round. The second round, though, they're like, okay, let's give it a shot.
Right, and I get that. So we're doing our Truth Top 10 right now. Who will be the Defensive Player of the Year in 2026? We are both down to our 2 and 1. My 2, again, another good defensive team. He's a defensive tackle on the Detroit Lions. They picked him up. Tyreek Williams. I like him a lot, and I think he's on a really good defensive team. So I thought, you know what? We'll give him a shot. We'll put him up towards the top of our list.
He was definitely a need. Their defense, especially the defensive line, collapsed. It collapsed at the end of the year. The defense wasn't playing well, and they got rained on pretty easily. It's just nose tackles just don't. I didn't put on the list because nose tackles just don't usually win Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I didn't have him. So number 2, I went with Jalen Walker, another edge rusher for the Falcons. They took 2 in the first round. He's an absolute stud. He can also play off the ball. He's not just athletic. He's fast. He's explosive. He's got it all. Maybe poor man's Abdul Carter. Maybe not quite on Abdul Carter's. More on him in a second. But Jalen Carter, I had him as, I think, my 5th best player. He fell to 15 because of an injury. I think the Falcons got an absolute steal. They have 2 really good designated pass rushers going into this year.
I'm really surprised you don't have my number 1 guy on your list. I went with another strong defensive team, and I know what you're going to tell me because it's what you told me for the rest of these guys that I picked. It's that these positions don't.
Is he a Steeler? Is he a Pittsburgh Steeler?
He is a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Just missed with me too. Just missed.
Okay. So I don't feel so bad, but Derek Harmon was my pick here for number 1. I as much as I don't like to admit it, Pittsburgh has always churned out great defenses, and he's just another guy in a long line of people who's going to jump right into that line and it's going to mesh in there really well, and that's good. Unfortunately, good team. Unfortunately for me as a Bengals fan, good defense, and I thought that guy would be able to be there at the end of the season.
I thought there was a chance the Bengals would take him. I thought he'd be a good fit for them. But, Derek Harmon, he actually led NCAA in pressures from the defensive tackle position from the interior defensive line. So he could put up a bunch of sacks. He could. I just favored the edge rusher. Like I said, they're more likely to get sacks, and that will draw attention. So I did not have him. But, him and what was the other one you said? Just missed. I can't remember now. But anyway.
Or Starks.
Yeah, Malachi Starks. Those are the 2. If I do 12, they would have been 11-12. Okay, so let's recap. My number 10 was JT Tuimoloau, edge rusher Colts. 9, Will Johnson, cornerback Cardinals. Number 8, Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. Number 7, Donovan Ezaraku, edge rusher for the Cowboys. Number 6, Jihad Campbell, a linebacker for the Eagles. Number 5, Carson Schlesinger, a linebacker for the Browns. Number 4, James Pierce, edge rusher, Falcons. Number 3, Mike Green, edge rusher for the Ravens. Number 2, Jalen Walker, edge rusher, also Falcons. And number 1, you had him earlier, Abdul Carter, edge rusher, Giants. The dude is an absolute beast. I think he's a top 10 edge rusher right now in the NFL. He was an all-pro linebacker at Penn State until last year, so he's still learning the position. If you watch him the first 3 or 4 games, you'd probably think late round pick, and he just took off. And even when he was playing hurt, he's still getting pressures in the playoff. You wonder what would have happened. Maybe they beat Notre Dame if he's healthy. They might have. They wouldn't have beaten Ohio State, but anyway. But Abdul Carter, I think he's the heavy favorite. I think he's going to win it unless he gets hurt. He's an absolute stud.
All right, but what about his injury history? You're not concerned about that?
It's concerning, but it outweighed his talent and his ability. Just outweighed it to me, and he had such a good camp. And the Giants have a good edge rusher room. He's not going to see a lot of double teams. That defensive line's really good. I thought about that too. Like Trey Hendrickson's going to get a lot of double teams. So Shamar Stewart, like you mentioned, might get a lot of one-on-one. Abdul Carter's going to get a lot of one-on-one. He plays with Dexter Lawrence. He plays with Brian Burns. He plays with Kayvon Thibodeau. So there's a lot of talent on there. So I think Carter has a really good chance to get a lot of sacks this year.
All right, excellent. So there is our Truth Top 10. That's what we end every show with. Getting a lot of great feedback off of it. We will decide here in a few days what our top 10 will be next week, and then we'll announce it before we do the show. So fantastic, man. I really like this. And this was a lot of work for me. I don't know about you, Chiefs. I studied this college football stuff a lot.
More work than any research on this podcast by far, like more than double. Yeah.
And then next week, of course, as we've already mentioned, Cheese did it earlier in the show, we are going to do our NFL prediction and preview next. We'll announce the questions that we'll answer about each division kind of as the week goes along to give you guys some thought process on it. Maybe you guys will do the same thing with us and analyze it with us as well. So we certainly look forward to that. We thank you for being with us here today on the Sportz Truth. That is Cheese over there. Football with Cheese is the name of the YouTube channel. And of course, you can follow him on X if you just take the with out. So Football Cheese on X. He also, as if that's not enough, the man writes for Packers.com as well. And you have an article that comes out every week, yes?
PackersTalk.com, yes.
I'm sorry,
every Monday, yes. And
so
this week's article, this past week, it was about reasons for pessimism. Why the Packers may not be as good as you think. It was tough to write, but I'm looking forward to this week. It'd be reasons for optimism why the Packers could be contenders, like everything could go right. So that will be this month, coming Monday.
Okay, so that was one of the things that we really looked at as far as when we put Cheese on the show. I mean, I understand that Packers talk article was hard for him to write, but he's truthful and he tries to keep a level head as far as that part goes, and is not a homer necessarily for his team, even though he loves the Packers very much. So one of the reasons why we put him on here every single week with myself, Mike Valentine. You can get me at the 643 out pod. Not doing the Diamondbacks thing anymore, so we won't talk about that a whole lot. That was my decision, so there's no hard feelings there or anything like that. But I wanted to be a part of this, and like I said earlier, we are doing some things behind the scenes that we're going to announce really soon. That you'll see why I'm not doing that anymore, because I'm going to focus on something else with Cheese and with a couple other guys. So certainly appreciate all of you guys being with us. Cheese, you got anything to add before we end the show? We want to try to end it before the third hour mark, you know?
We were doing good for a while, and the college football we just went off on football. But no, it was fun. I'm really looking forward to college football this year. I think it's going to be a crazy year, a lot of upsets. And next week, the NFL preview, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll make predictions, and what we'll do with the predictions, we'll come back and we'll see who did better. in the winter. So early next year, that'll be fun.
Right. I'm sure Chiefs will be able to make lots of fun of me because he is the big football guy. So.
Oh, if you watch you just like cream me, you can just I will never hear the end of it. I will never hear the end of it.
Well, you won't hear the end of it if that happens, but I'm not thinking that's going to happen. So.
If Derek Harmon wins Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'll be here. I'll never. I didn't even put him in the top 10. I'll never hear the end of it.
Oh yeah, you'll hear that every week, first thing, every episode. All right. Oh man. So yes, NFL preview next week. We're going to be doing some great things here, Sportz Truth, and we especially appreciate all of you doing it with us. Put your comments up there, following us on our YouTube at the 643 and Out Pod on YouTube as well, and following us on X at the 643 and Out Pod. We've already given Cheese all of his stuff that we're going to give him today. It's over. No more promos for you. No more.
So follow me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was trying right there. I'll give him trying. All right. So guys, as we say at the end of each and every Sportz Truth podcast, and we believe it with all of our hearts, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone.